Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Kaiju Weekly, the weekly live stream that talks about all the news in the wide world of giant monster movies. I am your regular host, Travis Alexander, and with me, as always, on most weeks, is Michael Hamilton.
Michael crap-eating Grand Hamilton.
And there it
Michael
is.
the Cheater Hamilton.
And next
Get
to
over it.
him is Nathan Marchand.
Hello, sirs.
Down below me, we have Daniel DeManna.
Hello, Daniel DeManna, bearer of squeaky hammers. That is I.
And next to him, we have the almost award-winning director, except there was no award to be won, apparently.
Yeah, and TJ Storm's new biggest fan.
Elijah Thomas.
Yeah, I'm the one everybody hates the opinions of.
And we're going to give a shout out to people in the chat. Spideris has joined us. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And then we have Oscar Solis.
Oscar Solis.
Oscar. Then
Modo
we have
Rosa.
Rin Kuragane.
Rin.
Hi there. Nice for you to join us. We have Robert Montserrat.
Robert of Montserrat.
I am so glad that you were able to join us, Robert.
And then
of
we got
course,
Trouble.
Eric!
Eric
It's
Stoltz from Bearded
Eric.
Kaiju's Unboxings and
Eric,
Reviews.
Mike's somewhat favorite person to ever hang out with at G-Fest.
And we
one
have
of-
from Record All Monsters.
Hey.
Hola.
Robert.
Hello.
Yeah, Robert, another Robert.
So many Roberts.
We've
there
got
such
so
a
many Roberts.
Is there such a thing as too many Roberts? I don't think so. I
Too
think
many
Yeah.
Roberts.
Too many Roberts. Too many Roberts. Anybody else get that joke? No, just Travis and me. Cool.
Robert.
There we go.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to
so-
have to be Bob.
And
Bob.
Eric, real quick, gives a shout out. Elijah's video is really good. He doesn't need an award to know how awesome he is.
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
is
Rob.
That's
very
what I.
true.
Yes, that's what I want to
That is
hear.
very, very true.
Yeah.
I just wish he didn't get the shaft with the sound system, though.
Yeah,
It was
can't-
his,
you
his-
can't
his
say
video
that.
was
No,
so
no, no,
good the
Nathan,
sound system couldn't
you-
handle it.
You can't say that according to my old high school because that's inappropriate.
What's it?
What?
Getting
Huh?
the
Getting
shaft.
Getting the shaft.
Oh.
I got
Getting
in
the
school
shaft.
suspension for using that.
Would you
term
rather us say
That's because
you got
schools are silly.
when I called them out for being awful to their theater department, they said that they were only punishing me because I said they got the shaft. So you can't.
This is why the
and-
public school system is failing.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes,
boy.
yes. Rin says, enjoyed the JFAX panels, by the way. That's
Thank you,
for
Ren.
Nathan. Those were really good. I watched the Henshin Men, or the Henshin Heroes one.
Pension 101, yeah.
Yeah, and that one was really good. I haven't watched any of the other ones yet. I haven't had time. Jose Campos. Hola. We got two Spanish speakers in here. Now, I will say, please try to keep it in English because it helps us moderate a lot better. Not that I don't trust you guys, but it does help us moderate the chat a
Wow.
lot better.
wow.
Dang.
If you keep it in English.
That was a
in a
little-
language
that
that the panelists here understand, which is barely English and sign language, which you can't put in
No,
the chat.
no habla English, no habla español.
No habla español.
No, it's
habla
no-
a little bit
okay.
español.
He is a fluent Spanglish speaker, I can tell.
No
Sí.
habla español, pero hablo la lengua de señas de americano.
I
I
understand
would
Now you're
love
just showing
that.
off. Now you're just
I
showing
would
off.
love I would love an Americano right now. I'm not gonna lie.
It just reminded me of Mrs. Swan say, you want a macchiato? Oh yes, I want to. Oh no, I thought you meant a Ralph Macchio. Yes, I like.
Oh
Ralph
yes, I
Macchio.
want the Ralph Macchio.
He's doing
All right, we're already off the rails.
What
So
else is new?
most of the panel here is fresh from G Fest,
Mhm.
and we're going to, if we have time, when we get to the mailbag segment, we will talk a little bit about G-Fest. But it's not really that big of a news week. I mean, we can probably just play some games, maybe hang out a little bit.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
clearly
we
have
had a whole lot of
massive-
nothing.
clearly
Yeah.
we had
Not
nothing to talk
that
about.
big.
Yeah,
Well,
nothing.
good night, everybody. I'm going back to
Which
bed.
I guess that explains why I didn't get the list of the news list.
It was in the chat.
I
That's
have-
all- that- it- you
I've
just
I've
gotta-
been here. I've been here scrolling back for the entire 10 minutes of the stream, and I can't find it. I'm trying.
Brendan from Autistic
find
Lizard
it.
Productions is joining us in the chat.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, Brendan.
We said who we got to see at G Fest.
Yes, we did.
Yes. Yes, we did.
But
We have another
all jokes
Robert.
aside, we do have a lot of news to get into. This may end up being a very long episode. We're going to try not to have it be super long. But before we do that, we have to do something. What do we have to do?
We
What-
have
Cue the
to-
beady
Who wants
beady.
to do it? Okay, somebody had to do it.
Aw, he stole it.
And the first, our top story this week is none other than Godzilla Minus One. Like, I mean, how could it not be that? How
Godzilla
could
to
it
the
not-
third power.
How could it not be
Godzilla cubed.
Godzilla?
Godzilla
Godzilla
cute.
-1
Godzilla pie.
plus. Yeah, we had a
Godzilla pie.
trailer for Godzilla Minus One, a teaser. We had the new poster. We had an official design released of Godzilla from the movie, and all of this stuff happened. And I just want to ask just the panel here, what are your thoughts on Godzilla Minus One? I know we kind of talked in our own private lives, but like officially on record, what are your thoughts on Godzilla Minus One?
Elijah, ladies first.
Ooh.
No, I do want Elijah to talk, because Elijah is the person who has been the most excited out of all of us. I mean, like, we've all been excited for this movie, but with no trailer, nothing coming from this, we've all kind of been like, well, we don't know what to expect. But Elijah has been like, I know the director, I know what's going on, I know what to expect with him. So,
He's already made a 10-hour podcast about it.
I want to hear your thoughts, Elijah. Go ahead.
Oh boy. Well, so this Godzilla movie is kind of near and dear to me, specifically because
You worked on it.
this. I wish. This is the first time I was able to follow a Godzilla movie from Toho from development all the way to announcement. I first learned about this movie back late 2020, early 2021, somewhere in there. That's when I learned about this movie. So for me, this is like really important because this was this is almost my first Toho Godzilla movie to like follow. I remember the initial announcement with extras and whatnot. So, I mean, I've been waiting for this movie for 3 years at this point, and Yamazaki I was aware of. I grew up with the new Godzilla movie coming in 2009, which was the footage of Always Sunset Godzilla.
Mhm.
So for me, this is like this has been something that has taken me this has been a long road. So for me, it's been this build up. Where do I even start with this? Like the poster, like where do you want me to start, Travis?
Well, where do you want to start?
So I will say, if you want to kind of watch kind of how this kind of developed as we got the announcements, I did a reaction video after staying up all night. That's on my Kaiju Conversation YouTube channel. But it was pretty exciting. I stayed up all night waiting for the announcement, only to get an announcement for an announcement.
Yes.
That required me to stay up later. So I ended up not sleeping at all. I didn't sleep at all.
Yeah,
No,
I didn't sleep at all that day
Go
either.
Brooklyn.
So, but I remember I remember like an hour before the announcement, we got a leak of this poster, which got us a title reveal. I know I was checking back and forth with sources.
I thought it was fake.
Yeah, reliable sources were like, this isn't real, and then they were changing their answers, probably because they didn't really know themselves.
It
but
didn't
like,
help that, what was it, Forbes posted an article about an hour too early,
because
and we were all confused thinking this was going to be a prequel to Shin Godzilla.
Oh, you didn't
was-
actually think that, right? Please tell me you didn't
No.
actually.
No,
No,
I didn't
I never
really,
thought
but
it.
because it just didn't make sense. But we were all
I
wondering
knew from
and
the
asking
beginning that was a
questions.
translation error.
Yeah.
Was I the only person who didn't think it was a prequel and knew it was a translation error from the beginning? I'm not trying to brag.
Okay, so I always interpreted it as what Higuchi said about Shin Ultraman being a sequel to Shin Godzilla. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was just hoping it wasn't a prequel. I was hoping it was his own thing.
And
Unless-
regardless of what you think of the movie, Shin Godzilla needs to be a standalone with nothing else
It doesn't need
attached
anything
to
else.
it. It doesn't
So-
need more.
the -1, at first I was like, Godzilla Zero sounds cooler. Like, that was a very cool title. But honestly, since then, I have grown to like this title. I really like the title, specifically -1 in the Japanese formatting, which is minus
Yeah.
1.0.
Yeah, -1.
Yeah, it's a very Japanese title, and just from because the trailer we got's only about 35
4
seconds
seconds.
long.
It's
Yeah.
34 seconds.
34 seconds. Yeah. I'm assuming it's supposed to be metaphorical and thematic because it's set in post-war Japan, occupation era, and the trailer actually says Japan was reduced to 0, as in nothing, and now it is -1 because of Godzilla. So it's basically Godzilla's kicking Japan while it's down.
They were
Yeah.
at their lowest point, and now, just when they thought they couldn't be brought any lower, 0 is as low as you can go.
Right.
They are brought into the negatives by
Right.
the advent of this creature. What?
And
Okay,
Genius.
all of that,
Love it.
and I'm serious about this, and you guys can argue with me, and we really honestly don't know. That is the truth. So before Nathan starts fighting with me about this, we don't know, but I still have the very strong feeling that this movie was supposed to be titled Godzilla Zero. When that title leaked, they decided to rework it and retitle it as -1, and that all of this explanation of it is them trying to justify it after the fact because they had to change the title. Because I think Godzilla Zero makes the most sense. Godzilla Zero was the one we heard and was the production name, and this -1 thing came out of nowhere, and all of the explanations I've been seeing about it have just been feeling like justifications after the fact. I really think this was not supposed to be the title of it to begin with, and then this is just the title they settled on.
I kind of agree with you Travis, because there's eyewitness accounts of extras saying the title was Godzilla Zero.
Mm-hmm.
But a few months ago, actually quite a few months ago, when Yamazaki changed his Twitter profile picture to the G, when you opened it, there was a minus symbol next to it. So it's been at least Godzilla -1 for longer than we think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think that the leaks of the title had them change the title. I really think
Potentially.
that it was meant to be Godzilla Zero, and I say that it was because of the leaks. Maybe Yamazaki decided that this title fit more of, like you guys are saying, the thematics of it and everything. Like I said, we don't know the reason. It just gives me the feeling of, oh, we need to make a title. Well, just -1. Just subtract 1 from 0, which was the original title, and then that we'll just go with that. But then again, Brandon, who's not here tonight, Brandon McClure from the Fake Nerds podcast, who's our friend and sometimes joins us on the streams, he did say, like, and I think even Elijah said that this is the most Japanese sounding title.
Yeah, it sounds very Evangelion. Like we've
yeah, it
talked
does
about
sound
that
very
before.
Evangelion, which I get because that's not really Yamazaki's thing. That's more of an Anno thing. So I don't know.
Not necessarily.
Not
No.
necessarily.
Yeah,
Not
Evangelion
necessarily.
is just the most obvious example.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, this what I'm most excited for, and this is so. Back in 2007, when Always 2 came out, Yamazaki said in an interview that he wanted Godzilla in the Showa era. That's why he used Godzilla in Always 2. That Godzilla is a staple of the Showa era, and you cannot take that out of him. So, already, like, Yamazaki's idea of this kind of makes me feel at home. Because I grew up with Showa era. I grew up with Showa era Godzilla, so the idea that Yamazaki and I both have that in common makes it kind of special.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, and when this teaser came out, I dive into it hard in my podcast episode. So like I'm gonna give you a rundown. Like there's a 30-minute segment about breaking down that 34 seconds. Because every 2 seconds I stop it and I talk about it. Seeing
very YouTube of you.
Very YouTube, but like there was so much to bring up. Seeing the tower that Godzilla destroyed in 54.
The clock tower?
The clock tower. Seeing that like hit hard for me. Seeing what appears to be ground zero of a bomb like hit hard for me. And it just this trailer, so it's all CGI. Like it is CGI, but it is very good CGI.
Yeah, and we can get into the discussion of the design of this Godzilla more, in just a second. But yeah, no, I think the idea that Godzilla belongs in the Showa era is a little flawed, seeing as that Godzilla has actually spent more time outside the Showa era than he has inside the Showa era. If you actually look at when the Heisei era began and ended, and where the Showa era began when Godzilla, it's like actually he spent more years in the Heisei era than he did in the Showa era. But that's just. It is classic Godzilla, so it makes sense, and I'm not hating on that idea, because I do like the idea of taking Godzilla back to the past. I'm interested in setting it so close to the atomic bombings for Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That's kind of interesting to me. So. It is kind of recontextualizing. I mean, Godzilla was always an allegory for that, but the original Godzilla, his big inspiration was the what was it, the Bikini Atoll,
Castle Bravo, and the Lucky Dragon #5 incident.
Right. So taking that away from his inspiration and just directly connecting it in a very visceral way to the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima is very interesting, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out in the movie. Now, I do want to hear from Michael, because Michael has been real quiet on this. So, what are your thoughts about the whole thing with Godzilla Minus One, the trailer, all of that?
I like it. I think the idea of Godzilla coming back when Japan is at its lowest point, and then reducing them to practically nothing. Is an interesting idea. I actually kind of agree with. I think I'm gonna throw up. I think I kind of agree with Elijah.
Hang on. Let me pull out my camera so I can record that.
Excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. It's like acid reflux.
Wow, both of the gatekeepers agreed on something.
Maybe this is the ultimate Godzilla movie, because we both agree.
as a fan of the Showa era, I think taking Godzilla back to its roots is important. I think it's important. I love the design. Speaking aesthetically, I love the design of Minus One. It's got a little bit of legendary, which we know. Elijah, you and I've talked that Yamazaki is actually a fan of the legendary design, so that's why it does look very legendary-esque.
Yes.
It's legendary with a little bit of with some Heisei and some Millennium. I think the Millennium comes through with the dorsal plates,
With some Showa, with a little Showa as well.
with a little show, and I was a little Showa and a little Tella. I was all right, I'm waiting. I was waiting for it. Okay, so I was talking to you, Elijah, the other night, and I said I think one of the nitpicks I have about this particular design is it has no ears. I want Godzilla with ears. If they're going to bring Godzilla back to the Showa era, I want Godzilla with ears, and that's very, very minor. All right, but I like this design. I'm curious, like what the atomic breath is going to look like. Is it going to be white like in 54, or is it going to be blue?
Maybe it'll be purple.
Oh, I hope not.
That would make no sense.
I hope
or maybe
not.
it'll just look like straight fire.
Well, okay,
I don't
in
know.
all fairness, Nathan, it would make sense because purple is higher on the hue spectrum when it comes to temperature. So
This is true.
purple is a hotter temperature, but
Is it hotter than blue?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Blue's actually a very, very cool in air quotes temperature when it comes to the light spectrum.
Yeah.
But I'm
And
with
then-
Michael on
And
that.
then white is as hot as you can get it, you know. So I don't know. I don't really have much to say about the film itself because I'm going to reserve my thoughts for when I actually get to watch
we've
it.
only seen 30 seconds.
But that being
Well-
said, I'm going to interject real quick because this is kind of my big thing. I have never felt more like I'm seeing the Godzilla I grew up with until this trailer because of how it looks. Yamazaki visually has done a great job already with how it looks. It is undoubtedly Yamazaki's film. It looks great. The CGI looks fantastic. Like it looks amazing. I have never thought that I would see a Godzilla movie that looked as good as it does with its CGI.
Mhm.
And it hit really, really close for me. It hit.
And I'll add one more thing. Because I want to hear from Danny and Nathan next.
Well,
But
Nathan's already been given his thoughts, so.
that's
But
true.
I have a specific question I want to ask. So, but go ahead.
Right. I'm really happy that Toho listened and they decided in their infinite wisdom to give me a Godzilla movie for my birthday.
Yes, that was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Was we got a release date
Release date, yeah.
along with the trailer, and we got a release date in Japan and also the U.S. and they are less than a month apart.
Which I
Yep.
think is the fastest turnaround, not only for a Godzilla film, but I think for just
God, I hope
a
not.
Tokusatsu, anything. Even Shin Kamen Rider wasn't this fast. Shin Kamen
Yeah.
Rider was 2 months. It took 8 for Shin Ultraman to get over here. It was about 8 or 9 months for Shin Godzilla. This was fast.
Yeah, and I just
Well,
I
this
have,
will be fast.
it will be, yeah, it will be really fast, and I think that's amazing. I think that was their plan from the beginning, to have a very fast turnaround, because I mean it's Godzilla and Godzilla has the
Yeah.
international appeal, so doing
Yeah.
that is
They
really
Well,
smart.
and-
planned ahead.
Yeah, well, and they're doing what I've been saying for a couple of years that I'd actually like to see, which is we're getting simultaneous productions of Godzilla films on both sides of the Pacific. Toho's making a movie, and then 3 months later, we're going to get another MonsterVerse film.
Yeah.
So
It-
I need to interject again because this is something that nobody's talking about that I feel like I have been barking about a lot, but nobody has really brought up. Toho announced the U.S. release date. Now we've just said how amazing it is that it's 29 days apart. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. That's three weeks. So it's
More.
an amazing that we're getting a Godzilla film 3 weeks later than from the initial Japanese release. But what's more amazing is it's coming out on December 1st, if I remember correctly, which is a Friday, which is a main. It's not a limited Fathom events showing.
Nope.
It is a headlining Friday night showing. There will be Thursday night previews, Friday night opening day. This film will be one of the heavy hitters for that weekend.
Yeah.
That itself is amazing. And more so, on the English posters, on the English press releases, on all of the English related stuff that's officially by Toho, there is one distributor. And that distributor is Toho. Toho has been marketing it as their film that they are distributing, which has never in the history of Toho's existence happened. Toho has never released a film in America widely by themselves. That has never happened ever in the history of the world. So
And
not only
I'm kind of glad they are, because of, especially given the state of the American studio system right now.
right. And like that's amazing for Toho and Godzilla, because this is a first time thing. This is Toho pushing their market. This is Toho's whole plan of bringing Godzilla to an international audience. And that is remarkable. That is something we probably never thought would happen.
There is no such thing as a middleman anymore.
Mhm.
No Fathom, no UPA, no AIP, no.
At least for
freaking-
Godzilla.
That's what I mean. Like, this is the importance of this, the significance of this, which not enough people are talking about. Elijah is right. Cannot be overstated. This is. There is no barrier now. There's no third or possibly even up to like 10 entities, whatever, that have to touch this thing before it ends up in a US theater, on a disc, on a streaming set, whatever. Toho is coming over here and handing it to us. That is unprecedented.
And where does
Yeah.
this end? Because they've already announced the Godzilla store is coming to international markets direct to consumer, which Michael and I have talked extensively about how that's going to reduce costs. That's going to make it so Toho can make more money. Where does it end? Does Toho start distributing all their films on physical here? Like the impact of this film alone is like, this is big. This is the hugest news that we have had in the fandom for decades. I would say for decades, that Toho is going direct to consumer in the United States. Something that we never thought would happen. You know, like 2 years ago, it was Toho doesn't like international markets. They're just looking for money. But now they're going to those markets directly. They are giving us what we've been asking for decades.
Yeah.
Like this is the hugest news. Like I would argue huger than a new Toho Godzilla movie. The fact that we are getting Toho in America, Toho America, not Toho Japan, brought to you by an American studio. This is the beginning of a new era of not just Godzilla, but of Toho.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah, very exciting, very interesting. It's very interesting to see, and maybe they made that decision because of the state that the American studio system is, or maybe it was a cost thing. Maybe they decided, hey, us distributing it ourselves in this market is easier and better than sharing that cost.
I think it's also because they've been building more infrastructure in America,
one.
so that it would be possible. Because
I mean, I was just saying, like, the root of that, why they started moving in that direction. What's kind of the motivation behind that? I was just kind of speculating on.
Right. I'm just saying, because all the other tokusatsu studios in Japan are still going through third parties at this point. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing it because of past experience. Maybe they're doing it because they've seen some of the mistakes that have happened with some other tokusatsu releases with third parties. Looking at you, Cleopatra.
Nathan, look at what Tsuburaya has been doing with Blazer and Z and Decker and all of those.
With YouTube,
like, they've been, the new Ultraman have been doing really well. I just saw somewhere that Decker, or Blazer, Ultraman Blazer has been toy sales in Japan have been through the roof. It is
Mhm.
the most successful Ultraman show, toy sale wise, ever.
Its first episode is the highest viewed first episode of any Ultraman that's been on YouTube to this point.
Like the Japanese studios are starting to go direct to consumer internationally, which is working. And I think part of that is because of the development of anime lately. Anime has been growing. I think it might have been on here where I brought up it was on my episode on Godzilla Minus One. You can go to Walmart now and buy Naruto shirts and Naruto merchandise in the apparel section. You can buy Dragon Ball Z, My Hero Academia. Like, anime has become so big and so popular in the United States that now that is a market all to itself. That is,
it outsells American stuff most of the time too. I mean, how many years now are we looking at with manga sales out?
Manga. Like you walk into a Barnes and Noble, and the manga is eating up the comic book section.
Oh yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah,
I mean, the manga section at my local Barnes and Noble has effectively quadrupled in size over the last couple of years.
It's
and
insane.
It's interspersed throughout the entire store. I mean, most of my Barnes and Noble is like manga and cuddly anime things, and like maybe 3 books now. But
I mean, my local Barnes and Noble actually has little signs on the manga shelf saying, "Hey, we have more in the back if you can't find what you're looking for." That's how much they have.
These things sell like hotcakes, and the idea of going through 1,000 different middlemen to sell this stuff and to have this stuff produced is not as viable and as necessary as it was even 10 years ago. Because why, if you're Toho, make a deal with Funimation, Fathom Events, all these different entities to release a movie who they all have to pay? They all get a slice of the pie when they can just give it to
if they
us.
have the infrastructure to distribute it themselves.
And they have built that up, which is why I mean, the current turmoil in Hollywood has very little to do with this decision, because
it has to have started way back.
Yeah, right? Like this is something the stepping stones were laid in the garden for this thing years ago, and they've been building and building and building. Hollywood is not looking so hot right now, but it's not been looking hot for a while, but it's only now become apparent from the perspective of someone who doesn't want to like blow money on a studio system that's falling apart. Recently, within the last couple of months, especially with everything that's going on right now, it's a lot more volatile in a visible way than it ever has been. So having less of that nonsense to have to deal with if you're Toho just makes sense on multiple levels. But that's a happy accident, because this is something they've had in the works for a while, and they've hinted at it. But this is the proof. This is it coming to fruition. And I don't, like Elijah said, I don't think enough fans realize A, that this is happening, B, the magnitude of what this means for right now, and C, what it will mean a year from now, 5 years from now. Who knows how long the pickings will be good. So it's worth celebrating and taking advantage of it while we can. I'm looking forward to not having to pay import fees from the Godzilla store.
Yeah.
If I want to get the Godzilla versus the Gigan short film Bandai figure, I could get it without having to pay $100 for it now. Which is why I don't have that figure, because it's like with the import fees, I couldn't do it. It's too much.
What I would like to talk about now, because I know we can talk about this for forever. We can have the whole episode be just about this, but we have a lot of news still to cover. But we haven't really, I mean, we've kind of hinted at it, and Michael even talked a little bit about it. So let's talk about the design of Minus Godzilla, or whatever we end up calling him. I know the
name I'm hearing is Nega Goji.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
You're gonna get this stream.
Nathan, you're done. You're out.
Thing instead of
Nathan,
Michael.
you're out. You're out. You're kicked out.
You're canceled.
Cancel.
Demonetized.
We're gonna have to
demonetized is one word, not 2 words, right? Okay, I'm just checking.
So we can talk about this design. I just want to share. So this design is a modified version of the ride and of Yamazaki's design that he's kind of been building for what, a decade now?
Oh,
How long?
longer
15
than that.
years.
Longer
Always
than that.
15
22
years.
was 2007.
Okay,
At
I
least.
couldn't remember what year it came out. So yeah, it's been a while that this design has kind of been evolving, and we can have the conversation, and if somebody wants to bring it up, that's fine, about reusing a design that already exists.
Oh,
I
God
mean,
forbid the
why is
Godzilla
it a
series
problem?
reuses
that, yeah,
design.
it's like it's not
I-
like Godzilla hasn't done that before.
I would-
Toho reused the same suit 4 times in the late
I-
60s and 70s.
I would argue. So I'm going to interject here real quick and say that I would argue this is not reusing a design.
It's not. Thank you. It's not.
This is Yamazaki, who, I'm going to be honest, I think he's had this in his head for 40 years. I think
Mhm.
this has been a design that has been morphing in his head for 40 years. I bet he drew this design as a kid,
Yep.
and he has been mastering the perfect Takashi Yamazaki Godzilla to this point. And I
You are
think
right.
the reason we are at this point is Eric posted a comment. This is the next big Godzilla. This is going to be the face of Godzilla for a while.
Thank
This is
Mhm.
God.
this is
Yes.
going to replace Shin. This is going to replace
Thank
Heisei.
God.
I firmly
Yeah, and what's
believe-
going to stop you from getting sick of this one, Michael?
I honestly
It-
feel like this is the best Godzilla they could have went with, because
Yeah.
it is, the face looks Heisei, the tail looks Showa, the spines are Millennium, the body is inspired by Legendary. It
Mhm.
is, it's a culmination of 70 years worth of Godzilla, which is very
Yep.
timely, because this is the 70th anniversary film that Toho's marketing.
Right.
It's Yamazaki's perfect Godzilla. This is like the perfect Cell version of Godzilla for Yamazaki.
What?
But
Yeah, look
the-
at that. Look at that. I gave an anime reference, Nathan.
the one thing that I didn't, and this was a personal taste thing, the one thing I didn't really care for with this design when I first saw it was the back spines, because the back spines coming from if you look at the comparison between this design and the ride design that it's kind of adapted from, the ride spines are not as huge and don't tower over top of his head and everything in his back. And so I was weirded out a little bit by the fact that, like, there's the fins were just towering so high above him. But then when I looked at it, and like we said earlier, and like I was saying earlier, how this kind of takes Godzilla and directly, in a very visceral way, connects him to the atomic bombings. If you look at from a side view of this, you can't really see it in the picture that I'm showing, but from a side view, if you look at the way that those spines actually are shaped, they look almost like a mushroom cloud. They look like a mushroom cloud coming off of his back. And because of that, I was like, okay, no, I'm a little bit more okay with the spines now than I was when I first saw it, because when I first saw it, I just thought they looked weird. But anyway, that was just me. Real quick, Michael, what are your thoughts on the design?
I approve.
Okay.
I love
Toho reached out to me personally and said, Michael, if you could craft your perfect Godzilla, I gave them some pointers. I told them what I wanted. I told them absolutely get rid of Shin altogether. I'm sick of seeing that little tiny armed thing all over creation now. I want to see a big beefy Godzilla. And this is what we got.
Did you say on the Kaiju Kim Chill with Kaiju Kim panel?
I love thick thighs.
Thick thighs save lives.
Save lives. That's right.
Yes,
Thick thighs save lives.
This guy has some meaty thighs.
And
Love it.
What
so,
Godzilla doesn't?
So Michael, you and I talked about this a little bit. It does have kind of the Shin Godzilla feet with how it's kind of designed, because Shin Godzilla's feet, he has like the front of his feet, are on the ground, and then his heels arched up, and it's very dinosaurian. It's
very
dinosaurian. But I honestly, you and I both kind of talked about this. This design's not skinny. It's not, it's not Shin Godzilla. It does have some Shin Godzilla inspiration, or maybe just, it follows some of the tropes with the chest having kind of that pointed out, middle section and those legs. But I really feel like this design does it more justice because of how bigger and bulkier. Like this Godzilla looks like a tank,
Mhm.
which
He-
is a nice change from Shin Godzilla.
To me, he looks just like the Heisei Godzilla, but meaner.
He
That
looks
was
like
possible.
he looks like he's gonna mess some stuff up.
I'll allow it.
Well, he looks pretty aggressive in what little we see of him in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm all
Yeah.
for I'm happy we have a villain Godzilla that looks awesome. I
That
miss
looks-
a villain Godzilla that looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, what do you think of the design?
I think it's stunning. I think it's amazing to look at. It's been fascinating to see this design evolve through 3 different but very similar iterations since 2007. A lot has changed since Always 2, but what hasn't changed is the face, the profile of the face, the way the mouth looks when it opens. There's a
Mhm.
membrane there, and the way that the jaw is shaped
Mhm.
is essentially the same as it was in 2007. Anybody who thinks this is just the ride version ported over needs to get their eyes checked. And I'm trying to be as nice about this as possible. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting tired of seeing people say dumb, uninformed things about this design.
Welcome to the fandom.
And
I know.
Well,
I'm
And
to add
Danny,
on,
you go ahead. Go ahead, Elijah.
to add on to what you're saying, Danny, a lot of people have been saying that they might have reused the model, and that's quite literally impossible. Because the ride design, the polygrams, I think is what they're called. The amount of polygrams in that model could not translate properly over to the movie.
Well,
completely
you can
different.
still
Yeah.
you can still take the model and build on it,
But
Like-
they would
like
have
they-
to rebuild it from the ground up.
Yeah, you
because
can't. It's not importable. It doesn't. It doesn't work
it's-
like that.
It's too low of quality in air quotes to have been ported over for the 4K, like way more detailed design. Like this is a complete remodel of that model.
Yeah, they didn't
Right.
even use the ride version, like the model as a basis, and then change it and rebuild it up. This is from scratch. So, and even if it wasn't, like I said before, anybody who has a problem with this should never watch Godzilla versus Hedorah or Gigan or All Monsters Attack or
Yeah,
any
tell me
Megaguirus,
you've only
or all
watched.
the Heisei movies after Biollante or Megaguirus.
I was going to say,
or
yeah. Tell me
SOS.
you've only watched Godzilla movies from the last 10 years without telling me you've only watched Godzilla movies from the last 10 years.
I saw people online like angrily tweeting at Toho and demanding that they change it. How entitled do you have to be? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm tired of that nonsense.
It's
I'm tired of
ridiculous because it is and to me, I wasn't when I first, because I had forgot that Yamazaki had basically been building this version of Godzilla for so long. Whenever we like it was a busy day and things were slipping my mind that day, and so I had forgot about that. And so when people were saying, oh, this is just the ride version but just a little bit extra added onto it, I'm like, good. That is a tradition in the Godzilla franchise. That's like, even if we say it's lazy, that's still it doesn't necessarily mean it's lazy. It's just an homage to the past, to the Showa era, when they were doing that. They did that constantly. It's
the same thing as, quote unquote, gluing CGI spines and plates to Shin Godzilla and turning him into Shin Gomez in Shin Ultraman. It's the same thing. But anyway, to sum up, I think this is a lovely, lovely look. He's angular and fierce. He's got a great profile. I love the spines. He could probably, like, if he leaned forward and he could stab someone with those things. It's very, it's like somebody did like a drag, like a digital drag on the Showa spines and give it a little bit of Millennium. There's definitely plenty of influence from previous versions here, but nothing that's overpowering. That makes you think, well, this is literally just a hodgepodge. It is very much its own thing. One thing we haven't brought up is the coloration, very brown as opposed to the traditional charcoal gray, which is
there's a little bit of green in there too.
There's
a little bit of blue.
They're a bit blue. They're
Danny, your mic Your mic's
Danny.
gone.
Yep.
Did you mute your mic on your?
Are you disconnected? Well, while Danny figures that out, let me just mention one other little detail that I noticed in here. So when I first saw this design again, one of the things that I was kind of iffy on was because I thought these were scales, like literally scales on him.
No.
And I was like, because if you look at his hands and his feet, you see the scales. You see scales there. So I thought he was more scaly, and I was like, well, that kind of takes away the radiation scarring that was kind of the traditional
Keloid
look
scars
of Godzilla. but then now that we had, once they released an HD version of this Godzilla that you could actually zoom in on, you can actually see, like, no, that's scarring. Like, it looks like scar tissue all over. These things that look like mushrooms growing on his upper arm and stuff is just, it looks great. These two little mushroom things on his chest are bothering me because they look like nipple rings, but that's just me.
There's
that is just you. That is definitely
my
just
nipples will be avenged.
There's also an interesting
God.
thing. If you look
That's
at
for
the
you,
chest,
Kim.
and if you look at
I'm
the
sure she's happy.
if you look at the in the image, it's the right side of his face, but there's actual scarring. Like, and you can see it in the trailer too. Like, there is legitimate scars on him.
It looks like he's just recently been hit by the bomb and he's still healing.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Like,
Which is why I really am wondering if this is supposed to be 1945 or maybe a year or two afterward, and he was awakened by Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be intense, to say the least.
Because this is pre H-bomb testing. This is pre H-bomb. You know, the H-bomb program didn't exist to the point where they could test things in the 1940s. So this would have to be, wow. Yeah. The timeline for this thing has me completely fascinated. I love how it almost does look like he has barnacles growing on him, deep sea life.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. That's what I was thinking of with I said mushroom things on his biceps and stuff. But no, I mean, like, it does look like a deep sea kind of like coral that's been growing on him. So yeah, definitely tying him into, I think even when somebody had a screenshot from the trailer where they saw his neck and you can see like what looks like gills on his side, very much Monsterverse style. That I think that having him being aquatic and having those aquatic nods in his design is really good. So no, the only thing I was iffy about with this design when it first came out was the spines just being so tall. They were so overpoweringly tall that was the only thing that I just was not a fan of. But like I said, in profile, if you look at them, they do kind of have that shape of an explosion off of his back, which, you know, kind of ties in with, like we were saying, with the mushroom cloud and the bombing. So yeah, no, it's a great design. I think
we'll get there in a minute, but I think something that just recently came out that gives us a really good look at the overall design is the SH Monster Arts figure. That was announced. We'll get there, but that gives us a really good indicator for what the overall design is going to look like, proportions and scale.
We did not officially give a shout out to Kaiju Kim when she first showed up in the chat. I know it's been 30 minutes now since then, Kim, but we're very sorry, but we did want to give an actual shout out to the Queen. Yes, Robert, mushrooms on the upper arm, Matango confirmed. I love that.
Yeah, that could be again a nod to the bombing stuff, with the mushroom clouds, and the keloid scars go all the way back to 54.
Oh yeah, that's nothing new, but that's this is such a good. Hi Kim, what's up? Yes, we love you, Kim. You're awesome.
We want to give a shout out to Adrian.
Yo, Adrian!
Yeah, he's not tired of that, I bet, at all.
No, absolutely not.
His whole life.
Nope.
No.
He loves it every time.
Guys, Guys, I have a question. Are we getting ready to move? Are we getting ready to move into movies and TV? Because we have
Yes.
some breaking. We have some breaking.
Yeah, I
We
was
have
going to
some breaking
say,
news. We
that,
do
and
have
I
breaking news.
have, if anyone's interested, I have the trailer pulled up. There's a new Gamma Rebirth trailer. I have it pulled up. I can share screen
I've
and
already-
react to it live.
I totally
I've-
cheated. I watched it while someone was talking.
I watched it when I muted myself when I watched it. So if you
Yep.
you rewind, you
All
can
right.
see my reactions. Like
It is,
15
I
minutes
can
ago.
confirm, one of the coolest
I
things
was
I've
screen
seen.
Okay,
sharing,
we're
so I
we're
couldn't-
going to watch it live. We'll do it live.
Well, we're gonna do it live. We're gonna do it live. So I've got
okay.
it. I've actually got it pulled up here.
Go ahead,
Um,
Michael.
Okay. I,
Copyright
Yeah.
strikes. Copyright
Right,
strikes.
strikes. all
Katakawa gonna shut us down.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Or
all right.
Netflix, one
No,
or the
I
other.
think we'll be all right with it. I
We'll
don't
be-
think
We'll be,
anybody's gonna-
we'll be fine. Okay.
I don't know. They yelled at me for. I got yelled at for showing the Blazar trailer.
It doesn't
And
matter.
rightfully so.
Yes.
I hope.
Right.
I hope Katakawa sues you into oblivion.
I hope
They don't
Katako
care.
sues
Katakawa
you
doesn't
to
really
be
care.
dead.
All right. All right. Come on. Come on. Come on. Play. Play.
let's do
Play.
it.
We don't have
All
time
right,
to
we're
argue.
gonna watch the trailer together, guys. We're gonna watch the trailer. Okay.
That was
Someone
me,
just
sorry.
saw the -1
Yeah.
trailer.
For anybody who's listening to this and not seeing the visuals, we are watching the Gamma Rebirth trailer. There he is. There's one. Oh, there's my boy. I love him. Zigra, Wiron, Viras.
無事なわけないか。
カメラ
Give it a sec.
Oh my goodness. The purple
Bam.
blood.
Wow, he can still do stuff with those stubby arms.
This is the one that got me right here. Give it a sec. Right here.
Oh, right in the
Oh.
armpit.
Are we gonna get Jiger babies in this?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
まさか。
何これ
Screw you, Powerhouse. This is how you do a kaiju anime, right?
All right. So thoughts, everyone.
I love
it.
Let's
I
start.
love it.
Let's start with Danny.
That was epic. That was epic.
That was epic.
They
Mhm.
cut right to the chase on that one, didn't they? Yes. This will lead into we'll get into it in a second, but yeah, clearly, Virus has been confirmed as the
Mhm.
final critter, and everybody knew that it was him. And
Everyone knew.
everyone knew. Sorry, Barugan, your time will come, but this is
I
not
know.
that time.
I was hoping I because we said it in our personal chat in our group chat that when we were talking was I was hoping for Barugan, I was hoping for a Heisei monster, but I always knew Viras was going
yeah.
to be it.
I am thrilled with this lineup. I think apologies to Barugan, who I love, but I love this lineup. The designs look pretty darn cool. That one of my G-Fest acquisitions was the Gauss, the Bandai
Mhm.
Gauss and the Jiger.
Oh,
And,
the Rebirth Gauss.
What
Yeah.
did I say?
No, he said it right. You just said
You
Gauss,
said
but
Bandai Gauss, but
Because it is a Bandai Gauss, you
yes.
dork. Anyway,
Nathan,
so the
shut up.
good lord. So
Oh my god.
the designs are cool. They're really interesting. I'm glad to see these creatures back. I really dig it. I love the style. The animation look. Bye, Nate. The animation style looks really interesting and cool. I'm excited to see.
says, "I need to fight my own battles."
My own battles, you know. You gotta nip it in the bud. Anyway, so I love it. I love it. Free Minola impression for everyone.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig it. I dig this trailer. It looks cool. And I did cheat and watch it while we were streaming with me.
I did too.
That's fine.
I
I'm
was
glad
I was
you-
the only one because
when-
I was actually doing work.
When Travis called me out for Michael, you haven't said anything about -1. I was watching the trailer for Gamma.
Oh my goodness.
There
All
you
right. Well, okay. So I'll share my thoughts next. My thoughts. We got purple blood. We got purple blood.
Yes.
Purple
Yes, we
blood,
got
purple blood.
blood, purple
Purple
blood.
blood.
Yeah, the copyright gods will love that one. Purple blood,
Purple blood.
Hey, no, we're not going to get a copyright strike for that one because Warner Brothers is selling that. So all we have to do is just buy the rights to Purple Rain.
Yeah, well, I'll get on that for you, Travis. I'm gonna call some people, get that deal set up for you.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
Hello, is this Prince? No, where's Prince? I'm gonna talk to Prince.
No, I think the trailer looks great. Getting the confirmation of Viros was exciting, but no, just the throwback to the purple blood from the Showa era just had me so excited. I'm like, so much of this looks like just one big celebration of Showa era Gamera.
It does.
Minus Barugan. Boo.
Maybe he'll be in the maybe he'll do a robot Godzilla singular point thing at the you gotta wait through the credits, and Barugan's gonna show up and he'll be part of like Project Iris, and then they'll loop you in for the sequel series, and then Netflix won't do it because it's Netflix.
Right. Yeah. No, I would love that. I would love just put a rainbow in the background of one of the scenes, and then that'll be good enough. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Michael, since you watched it already, more like Baru gone, Robert says in the chat.
I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be a Debbie Downer and say I didn't have high hopes because I was really scared the animation was going to look like crap. But I am actually pleasantly surprised with how the animation looks for Gamera, for Gamera and the monsters especially. I mean, I hope that the human characters don't look stiff, but I'm very happy that we're going to actually see Gamera actually physically mix it up with some of these creatures. My favorite shot, honestly, from that little trailer, at least some of the battle shots, is when Guiron just starts doing like the spinning forward slice into the air. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, we have Leslie P. Chambers in the chat. Leslie, my friend Leslie. Oh, it was good seeing
all
you.
the monsters look cool except for Jiger. I mean, I kind of get, it does give me like the Relic vibes, but really, honestly, it gives me more Nezura vibes than anything.
Yeah,
it really does. It really does look a lot like that Nezura rat monster, rat kaiju.
I do.
Since Nathan is throwing a tantrum, we're going to hop over to Elijah. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh boy.
Are we sure we even want to hear my thoughts?
No.
Yeah,
we want to hear your thoughts.
I was hoping to end with Nathan, who is a fan of animation and anime.
We'll get him in here.
Not the kid who hates anime.
Okay, so this doesn't look promising at all.
Oh my god.
There's some shots in there that you can tell that Katakawa doesn't have the budget for this thing.
What is going on right now? What is going on?
There is some clear cost cutting in the animation. It's a little choppy. It's a little choppy. Some of the human renders are not good at all. Actually, there's some shots where the humans look awful. I'm specifically thinking of the shot where one of the characters is running away as Gamera, and I think Jiger are fighting in the background, and he's running away, and it looks absolutely awful.
Aren't the humans and all hand drawn though?
No,
this just like
they're not.
No, this is all 3D. This is all 3D. Yes.
I thought they were hand drawn, and then all of the monster stuff was the 3D elements, just like in Singular Point.
They didn't have the budget to do that together.
Okay.
And so I guess we can kind of talk about some of the news with this.
Kaiju Kim, I'm not showing Erica to Elijah when it's finished.
No, you're
Erica
not allowed to
being
see it.
her.
I'll
You're not allowed to
for,
see it, Elijah.
No,
No,
I'll be
no,
evangelizing
no.
for that later on.
So the director says that this is going to be a kaiju wrestling match, and looking at the amount of episodes, there's 6 episodes, and there's 5 monsters. So it really and honestly just feels like they're remaking the Showa era in a best of reel in like 30-minute increments.
Super
That's,
Monster, the anime.
that's not a bad thing.
I disagree. I feel like that's gonna like absolutely make this a very empty show.
Hang on, what's the rules? What's the rule about Into the Void? Are we not allowed
Yeah,
to do
I
Into
know,
the
right?
Void?
We're not allowed to.
No, we're not doing Into the
allowed
Void.
to.
No,
Into
I
the
mean, to be
Void.
fair, Rob Buck has a point. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
I did warn you guys. I said, do you want to hear my opinion?
We did want to hear. We did want to
Yes.
hear. We
Yes,
want to
we
get
did.
alternate, different perspectives on
no,
this. That's-
so-
it's how we
just
have
because just because you hate anime and
I haven't
and-
even mentioned that I hate anime yet. I've been perfectly
No,
perfectly neutral
your
on
feelings
my
on
opinion.
this are valid. Even if
Thank
we
you for
disagree, your
validating my
feelings
opinions,
on here
Travis.
are valid.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
fine,
you for
man. You're
validating
fine.
my opinions.
You're fine,
But no,
but not your
I would-
parking.
I would like to be excited for this. I really would, because
we would
they
like
also
for you to be excited.
they also
would.
said in the interview that
You're allowed to be excited, Elijah.
No, here's
you
the thing.
have the
Hang
power.
on, hang on. If you let me talk, I'll explain. If so, in the interview at
Getting
SDCC,
spicy.
the director said that they would do a season 2, that they will do live action products as well, whether a show or a movie, if this does well. And this is all red flags. Like, first of all, they don't have the budget to do like good animation. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, it's not good animation. I think a lot of the
Just say that to
excitement.
my face, punk. Say it to my face.
Jiger,
Say it to my face.
Jiger, you do not have good animation. I'm sorry.
Oh, that hurt. That would hurt. I'm gonna go cry
Um,
in a corner now. Anime hater.
Uh,
I'm very
um,
mature for my age. It's fine.
Why does Jiger have the same voice as the old man from all the dub movies?
From all the old guy voice.
The old white guy with the mustache. Well, we must stop Godzilla.
We must stop. It's better than this guy. Gao sounds like the guy from Destroy All Monsters, who doesn't know what kind of a stone it is.
He's not the only one with opinions.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I wonder who bought that for you, Nathan.
Yeah, who did?
Yeah,
that?
you have sealed your own doom with this.
Actually, I just
You
realized
made Gamera angry.
I probably shouldn't do a voice because his mouth is like fixed open, so it looks like he's going. He's just screaming. He's in perpetual. This is going to make for great radio when this becomes a podcast. We're
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, showing off our toys.
Go ahead, Elijah. Talk about the
So-
animation. We derailed you.
They didn't have the budget for fluid animation. They are essentially remaking Gamera the Giant Monster versus Jiger versus Gaios versus Guiron versus Viras. And they're cutting it all down to, like I said, 6 30-minute episodes, which is only 180 minutes total, so 3 hours. It's and they're really like, they're not even marketing this as like, go watch this. We put in a lot of effort. It's go watch this so we can make more. And I feel like that's
Are you implying that, or is it like?
They've been saying, if you go support this, we will do a season 2 and there may be live action content. That's what they've been going with at the SDCC panel. That's what they were saying. They were saying, if you support this, we will do season 2. If you support this, Katakawa will do.
Then let me
live
play
action.
devil's advocate here about that.
Go ahead.
Sure.
This could be Katakawa testing the waters to even see if there's interest. Maybe they had to do a 6-episode, mid-budget anime series because it was relatively low risk, and if even that
Right.
does well, then they'll be assured, okay, we can make more Gamera stuff. Gamera is still relevant.
But to that's what they started doing at the end of the Showa era Gamera. And if I'm going to be honest, like end of Showa era Gamera, kind of, it's very, very hit or miss if it was good or not. I'm looking at Zegra and Super Monster specifically. So Katakawa has not successfully relaunched
I think they went with the Showa monsters because of nostalgia.
Yes, they did. They did.
Let's be honest. That's what the Showa Gamera is nostalgic. Heisei Gamera, and I would argue the Brave as well, are just benchmarks of the genre.
And I'm just gonna say this: if they were to do Heisei Kaiju, they would have it would have been a failure no matter what. I don't think you could do those any better.
Well, that's what I mean. I think using the Showa monsters gives them an opportunity to reimagine something and do something new with it. I don't think. I mean, other than Gauss has been reimagined several times, but we're talking specifically, Legion, Iris, and I'll include Zetas. I don't know what else you're going to do with those kaiju because particularly Legion and Iris are already pretty wild.
Yes, and I agree with that, Nathan. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And I like Nathan, not Nathan, but Robert's point of, well, they want Gamera out there during this kind of kaiju revival that we're seeing, this kind of new wave of kaiju media, and they're working within their limits. So I think that I don't think it's a bad thing that they are putting Gamera out there for people. It's like, hey, we see Shin Ultraman's coming out. Ultraman is making waves in overseas markets as well as in Japan. Godzilla obviously is still going, and Kong and Godzilla versus Kong and all those things. And it's like, well, Gamera's still here. It's like, hey, don't forget about Gamera. Gamera's still here,
right?
That type of thing. I think I think that is the purpose of the show, is just to keep Gamera in the minds of people so that he doesn't disappear in the void while all these other big properties are also coming out.
Right. And I'm going to say this right now. In terms of Netflix produced animated series, after Skull Island, you can only go up.
Okay, that's fair. Now, to that,
after season 2 of Ultraman, I think you can only go up.
No, Skull Island's worse. Skull Island is worse.
No, sir.
I'm the only person who enjoyed Skull Island. I'm the only one.
I still haven't seen it, Danny. I don't even know if I enjoy it or not. I haven't seen it.
I finally got around to seeing it.
Now, to counter that, Travis, the only difference is Toho and Tsuburaya and Toei and Legendary have been getting directors and people working on these films that have a good track record. That have
because they have a budget that can manage that.
But Kaneko, hang on. Kaneko pitched them a film and they decided to go with this. Kaneko is not doing work
because it's a smaller risk.
But
it's
here's
less
the thing.
of a risk.
But Kaneko is not going to be an expensive director. You could do a low budget Gamera film and it'd be successful.
If you do a low budget Gamera film, you're going to have people arguing and fighting the same way that you're doing right now, saying, well, why are they doing this low budget thing? Why aren't they doing a bigger budget thing?
Kaneko has a better track record than the director of the Godzilla anime trilogy.
They don't have the means to put out a Gamera movie right now.
But they had the means to do a yokai film and it bombed.
Right, which is why they don't have the means to do a Gamera film.
But
the last
Danny,
film that Katakawa did, they cannot. It bombed. They couldn't do it. I thought we agreed that we were doing no more sound effects on these streams because of the last time that they went nuts.
Gonna say, what's going on? What's going on? Wow, it's Michael getting into the shenanigans instead of me. What the heck is going on? No, anyway, Elijah, I lost my train of thought.
No, Nathan, don't. We're not going to keep arguing.
I was going to say
because Elijah has a point and he has his opinions, and that's fine. Nathan, share your thoughts on the trailer.
the trailer, I think the trailer looks good, and I was going to say I'm going to defend the director of the Godzilla anime trilogy a little bit. I do think he got marching orders from Toho that hamstrung him,
But
because
he
this
did-
clearly does not. This is not being stylized at
we're
all.
not going to argue,
like
Elijah.
that.
We're going to.
I know. I'm just
stick
pointing.
so
I'm
we
just bringing
can
up a
get-
point.
No,
It's
I
to
was telling
say,
Elijah.
this looks much more like a traditional kaiju film. It looks very Gamera. It looks very Gamera, but in animated form. Very Showa with all the with all the blood effects and everything. Now this trailer is more focused on the action, obviously. So yeah, and maybe that was the point, to show us what kind of action we can expect from this. I remember the first trailer being a little bit more story focused.
Oh, sorry, I took it off.
So
I was just like,
it-
just Elijah.
Yeah, and the last time Miike made a film that was really, really good, that was kaiju related, was 2005.
When was the last time that Kaneko did?
1999. But Kaneko
Okay.
hasn't. But Kaneko,
So,
in all fairness, has not had. Oh, actually, 2001. But Kaneko
So-
has had no jobs.
so like Robert said, they did the exact approach with yokai that you're suggesting, and it didn't work. So they're doing something different.
But Yokai had a bigger
Whe-
budget.
Whether this works out and it succeeds, that's beside the point. But they did try what you are suggesting, and it didn't work. So they're trying something different, and that is what they're doing. And ultimately, like we said, they're trying to keep the name Gamera and the face of Gamera out there in the public consciousness, so he doesn't get lost in the middle of all of this new kaiju renaissance. I mean, again, it's a topic that we can continue to discuss and go back and forth on, but we just need to move on. So Elijah, would you be able to read us the movies and TV news that we had?
Oh dear God, we're gonna be here for.
Nope. Wrong, wrong person.
Back to you, Steve. Wait, no, sorry.
Welcome everybody back to the movies and television section of Kaiju Ramen Media, presenting Kaiju Weekly. I'm your broadcaster, Hamlin. And today we are going to give you a mile-long list of kaiju news. Starting with the Hot Springs Shark Attack has ended its crowdfunding campaign and it has crushed its goal. The tokusatsu anime movie Midnight the Era has begun a new crowdfunding campaign for the film, along with revealing more behind-the-scenes footage and images on their Twitter page. Rush of the God has released its very first teaser trailer and a release date for 2024. A brand new kaiju movie has been announced, titled Aruno no Kaiju, translated to Blue Monster. Following The Lake, The Beast Below, and The 100 comes the next exciting Thailand monster movie titled Immortal Species, a giant animal movie with its first trailer. Filmmasters is to release The Giant Gila Monster and The Killer Shrews to Blu-ray and DVD.
Woo!
New posters for The Meg 2, The Trench have been revealed. G-Fest has concluded, and beyond all the stories and recaps, Kaiju films had their premiere at G-Fest internationally or in North America. Legend of the White Dragon has released a new trailer. Along with the trailer, a new release year was revealed as 2024. The film has been delayed. Shin Kamen Rider is now streaming internationally with subtitles on Amazon Prime. Kamen Rider Gacha Art has been revealed with a teaser trailer showing the design for the writer. Ultraman Day and Ultrafest have occurred. A new still from the upcoming Netflix animated film, Ultraman, was revealed. Shin Ultraman Blu-ray has been recalled, and a replacement has been announced.
And it still sucks.
Mhm.
Legendary Entertainment pulled out of Hall H this year at SDCC. The Return of
Boo.
Godzilla is coming to Pluto TV and the Godzilla Channel this month. In Japan, Toho has announced physical releases of multiple classic Toho Godzilla movies in 4K. Volts V Legacy continues its airing of episodes, as episode 46 through 54 have been released. As for YouTube releases this last 2 weeks, you had Ultraman Blazar with episode 2, Who Created Scarred, and episode 3, The Name is Earth Garon. As for Godzilla Island, episode 37, Surely This Time.
Yes,
Episode 38, The
Don't
Night
call me
Before
Shirley.
the Final Showdown. Episode 39, King Caesar's Conviction. And episode 40, Behold, the Miraculous Secret Technique have all been released. Oh my God. And
That's
now
a
we
lot.
have to
Breathe.
Deep
Breathe.
breaths.
Yes,
Oh,
breathe.
good job. Good job,
Agent.
Elijah.
Very good job.
Good job. Good job.
Very-
I don't think we had enough news. I don't. And
Three
there was.
points for Elijah.
Yeah, I don't think we had enough on that list.
No, we need to throw in some more stuff.
I've
So
drank too much caffeine.
We
to
know.
give Elijah a breather, let's start with Michael. What topic in that long list of things would you like to talk about?
I'm gonna go against everyone's expectations and not talk about Legend of the White Dragon, although the the delay in release date is really disappointing because I was hoping to watch that in September.
Yeah, now we're gonna have to redo the Power Trip schedule again.
It's
Yes,
just more time for
right.
them to make it better. I think it's a good thing in the end.
Yeah, it's probably some refinement in the post production. But I actually what I want to talk about is the brand new 4K releases for Mothra vs. Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters. Shoot. I'm
Hedorah,
blanking. Hedorah.
Destroy Monsters,
Right.
Astro Monster, Ghidorah,
Right.
and Biolante.
Right. Okay. So there we go. I almost said Godzilla's Revenge for some reason.
Don't even give me credit on that one.
So I'm very excited, and I've already pre-ordered mine from Amazon Japan.
Do you have the King
Very
Kong
good.
versus 4K?
I do. I have the one with the one that came with the manga book,
Oh,
the,
sweet.
the special edition that came out. I think it was like 2 years ago. At this point, was it 2 years
Yes.
ago?
Yes.
Right. So I have that one, and they're beautiful. They're so beautiful. The Godzilla store actually did a stream late last night, as you know, Elijah, and they showed off some like one-to-one comparisons. They used the Mysterians because they're going to be showing the Mysterians, I believe, in August in Japan
Yes.
in 4K. They've remastered that whole film. So they were showing like side-by-side comparisons before and after of their remastering of the Mysterians, and it's gorgeous. It is so good. And I really hope, especially for Monster Zero and Mothra versus Godzilla, I really want those in 4K. Like those are the two that I'm most excited for. Not that I don't already have a ton of releases of those films anyway, but those are two of my favorites, and I'm so happy that they're on this list.
Nathan, what of these topics do you want to discuss?
I need to keep beating the snot out of Cleopatra Entertainment
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they
boy.
continue to disappoint me. Now
Yeah.
I don't know what to do at this point because I still want to get a Blu-ray of Shin Ultraman, and I am. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. I was being nice to them because I had read that they were going to fix everything and that the CEO of Cleopatra met with reps from Supro in Tokyo. So I thought they were. I'm like, you already have pre-existing subtitles for this. Why not use those? And now it's just a cleaner version
So-
of what they already put out. So I don't know what to do now.
Just real quick, if anybody wants to replace their DVD copy or Blu-ray copy, Cleopatra is offering replacements. You email them, including proof of purchase and which version that you had ordered. Make sure to include your full name and address in the reply. Then once confirmed, they send you the replacement disc. And then it said allow them 7 to 10 business days to process and send your replacement disc. A lot of people have done that. And when they've gotten the replacement discs, they have the captions are still dub titles and closed captioned. The print used still have brief moments of video corruption. And I've seen screenshots, there's a scene where Mephilos is in the car and there's like some artifacts, like some errors in the in the corner. So not only are the subtitles now broken, the actual video, the video part of the DVDs and Blu-rays are
What a
messed up.
joke.
That's
What a
always been there. So that's always
Oh,
been there. That
oh,
was
has it?
something
That was in there before.
Thankfully,
was it? Okay.
thankfully, somebody in my server, because I refused to purchase that thing.
Yeah, I didn't purchase it, so I didn't know.
He pointed it out to me that there was some corruption, and it was really weird because it's actually outside of the aspect ratio. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what
saw that.
files they've been using.
How?
This is
But
Outside
like-
of the letterbox, there's
it's like it's a glorified bootleg at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really what this feels like. And just when
Yeah.
I think I can be happy with Cleopatra because I thought they were doing right by everybody, they still they're just scrubbing it a little bit. That's all they're doing. And good Lord, I hope at this point, I think Supro should yank the license from them because they are ruining the reputation of this film at this point.
Yeah, I don't think they can. There's a contract.
I'm
Like,
not.
there's
Yeah,
no
that
way
would
they're
be
gonna be
breaking
able
a
to.
contract.
Yeah, maybe they can't yank the license, but they need to be yelling at Cleopatra at this.
Oh,
Well-
I can
yeah.
guarantee you something's going on behind the scenes right now. Someone is in trouble. I don't know if it'll get fixed because
I hope someone gets fired for this.
somebody should
Mhm.
be. I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel here, but this is humiliating.
Yes.
I will not be getting a replacement disc because there's no. I mean, my disc is busted
There's no
anyway.
point.
If I ever want to watch the dub, then I'm fine. But there's no point when it's dub
Hmm.
titled. Yes, they put the subtitles in for the in text, so now you can understand what's happening at the beginning if you didn't see it in theaters. But the fact that it is, listen, it's 2023. There's no excuse for dub titles. We're not stupid.
Yeah, especially since there are subtitles for this already exist. I don't understand why they don't have access to these subtitles.
So I was considering doing a replacement disc, but I felt a nudge in my gut. And my gut told me just wait for the replacement disc to show up. Because I don't know, this is going back a ways, but if anybody out there remembers the Mill Creek Gamera 3 Blu-ray debacle, where the subtitles dropped out mysteriously, this would have been, what, 2012? Yeah. 13? 12, something like that. About 10 in a pinch years ago. The subtitles would randomly drop out at just completely nonsensical points. They did a disc replacement program, and the discs that they mailed out were mostly fixed, but there were still a couple instances, like maybe 2, where the subtitles didn't return. And that is dumb, especially considering, to Nate's point, that perfectly fine subtitles existed on the ADV versions. Those subtitles were fine. Why not just, I don't know what the shenanigans are with subtitles. I don't get it. I'm not in the industry, so I don't know. But if they can promise me, like, you know what? I'll even throw them a bone. The weird digital artifacting and problems with the image outside the aspect ratio, fine. I'm used to watching I watched Ultraman on bootleg VHS quality rips my whole life. I don't care about that stuff. It'd be nice if it wasn't there, but I don't care. I'll throw them a bone on that. If they can give me a disc that accurately translates the on-screen text and a subtitle track for the dub, that's already there, and they can provide an accurate translation. I don't care how close the dub and the sub are to each other. Give it an accurate translation. If you can do that, then I will get your replacement disc, and I will thank you. I will thank you publicly. I'm really not, like, I'm sitting here talking about this and like, but I'm really like, this is so, it's too dumb for me to even give that much of my brain power. It really just
well, two things. First off, can anyone confirm? Yeah, that was funny, Robert. Can anyone confirm for me?
No, it wasn't that.
No, it was
me and Michael fighting over the buttons.
Okay. I was wondering why it was spazzing out there.
No, it's Travis and I were trying to delete it, and
yeah. But anyway, can anyone confirm for me that apparently the subs on the streaming version of this are fine? That's what I am hearing.
I was told
That's what
that
I've heard.
the formatting was correct. I don't know if it's still the same subtitles or not, but I do know that the English dub is not available anywhere outside of the disc.
Well, that's
And
kind of wacky.
I'm-
Unless
I'm-
this is some sort of diabolical plot to get people to double dip.
And
I
I'm
wouldn't.
just
I wouldn't put it past the industry at this point. So I
I'm
really
just going to
wouldn't.
reiterate what I said once before. I'm going to wait for the used
Wait.
copies to be available. I'm not purchasing this. I
Nope,
don't
I'm not.
care. Cleopatra can go swat themselves.
Swatch
Uh,
themselves.
What?
I don't usually.
Wow.
I don't usually
That
say
is
this.
the-
You know,
I'm going
but
to have
don't
to
do
start
it.
saying that as a euphemism now.
I'll
Swatch
wait
you.
till
Yeah.
I'll wait till next G Fest and just buy it from a table somewhere.
There we
Before
go.
I
That's
buy it.
Yeah,
a good idea.
I will tell
Yeah.
you, it is going to hurt. I am a
Right.
physical media guy, and I love Ultraman. It is going to hurt not having this in my collection.
Now, all we
Danny,
have
what
to
were you
do
gonna
is wait 5 years. Wait 5
Danny,
years, and then we can
What
get
were
it.
you gonna say?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't know. Are we
You started
about?
something, then you got.
Well,
interrupted.
it is a little hopeful that this thing has dropped to like 2.6 on Amazon and they've lost
That's
their
what I was going to say.
yeah.
their
That's what-
recommended release badge.
Yeah,
now.
it was number one in science fiction
Yeah.
for the first day or two that it was out, but
Ain't
then I
that
heard
no more.
retailers just refused to carry it. I don't think I saw a single person trying to sell it at G Fest.
I've been waiting.
No,
I've
no.
been waiting to see because MVD distributes in Walmart, so I've been waiting to see if it shows up in Walmart, and I haven't seen it.
Mm,
No,
Yeah,
I
I
think
haven't seen it.
distributors, from what I understand, distributors have essentially cut off getting new shipments of this thing until they can be sure that it's the
mhm,
corrected version. What I was going to say, it came back to me finally,
uh-huh.
was I'm not usually like, don't buy this disc, you know, like, or don't buy, like, I don't
You're a
care.
nice person.
I'm I'm too nice, but like for I am, but in this instance,
Don't buy this disc.
legitimately from somebody who usually doesn't get invested in this kind of thing, don't give them your money. Don't do it. Don't
This is
buy
a
it.
shoddy product. Okay,
It's
Mill
broken.
Creek,
I just-
Mill Creek has had some issues with some of the subtitles in their Ultra releases, but it was never to this level.
No, this
No.
is
Never.
We're be-
okay,
we're
and I'm
being-
watching
I
Gridman right now, and Gridman
Reading it.
has dubious subtitles to say
Yeah.
the least.
We're
They're
I
being-
just
not
hope-
this bad.
I just hope that this doesn't affect other releases as far as like getting distributors and stuff like that. Like that people see how badly this was botched and that it affects like other things in the future. Because I
This
mean,
is
we
the-
still
This is definitely going to at least devalue Shin Ultraman. Like I
Mhm.
guarantee you, when
Yeah.
when the license lapse in 2028, when the rights lapse for this, they will not be able to license this for as much as they did already. Like
No.
the licensors are going to look at this and they're going to say, you haven't had a proper release of this. We're not
Mhm.
going to pay unless like we have a
Right.
good release. So this film has unfortunately become cursed, I would say,
Right.
in the
and it's
licensing.
such a shame. Such
Yeah,
a shame.
it really is, and I really
we
do hope
do have to
Supro
move
is
on.
yelling at people.
We're beating a
right
dead
now.
horse on this
we
one.
do,
but,
we do have to move on. Danny,
Ooh.
of all the topics that that Elijah read out, what topic do you want to discuss?
I'm gonna throw a bone to one of my kaiju tokusatsu artistic heroes, Keizo Murase, and talk a little bit about Brush of the God.
Yes.
Because
Beautiful.
Brush of the God it's one of those things. Whenever there's an update to it, interest kind of does it just kind of goes away because it's taking a long time. And so people aren't really paying that much attention to it, but the significance of this film and what it means for kaiju history, what it means for the guy who made it and is working on it cannot be like it.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore it. Brush of the God, for anybody who doesn't know, is an upcoming kaiju centric fantasy epic that was born out of the mind of one of the single greatest contributors to this genre, Keizo Murase, artist, suit maker. This guy is no joke. He's been working on building the monsters that you love since the 50s. This is a living legend. He's an amazing guy. He's also incredibly nice. I've met him before in person. He's a lovely guy, very, very nice guy, and just incredibly talented, quiet, focused. He's got like a samurai mentality about him, but he also has like this kind of very jovial feel to it. Like
and
he's
the
just
film was crowdsourced too.
kickstarted
crowdfunded,
a few years ago.
Yeah, Kickstarted.
Theoretically, unless I'm completely misremembering, when it comes out, my name should be in the credits as a
Nice.
Kickstarter backer. Because the minute this was announced, I was all over it, not just because of Murase, but because Daisuke Sato is involved and he's behind Howl from Beyond the Fog and a handful of other films. I've met him too. He's lovely. A lot of very talented people. And Brush of the God is an idea that Murase came up with in the 70s. Just a flight of fancy that he sketched out ideas for. It's an idea that's been stuck in his head for 50 years. The guy is in his 80s, and he came out of semi-retirement a few years ago to make Nebula from Howl from Beyond the Fog. And following the success of that film, which is a beautiful film if you haven't seen it, it's an amazing movie, he launched a Kickstarter campaign to finally bring his vision to life. And the actual full-on plot of it hasn't been fully revealed. It has a human cast. It has an epic story that's kind of based on fantasy and mythology, but it's an original idea that came from his head. And the main kaiju antagonist is a new adaptation of Yamato no Orochi, the eight-headed dragon. And the interpretation of Orochi that Murase-san and his crew built for this film is beautiful. There have been multiple tokusatsu Orochis over the years. Tsuburaya did one in the 60s for Three Treasures. Obviously, there Shinji Higuchi did one in the 80s for Strikes Again. And then no one really talks about that one, but it's awesome. And then in the 90s, you had Yamato Takeru with Koichi Kawakita.
Orochi, the eight-headed dragon.
Yes, with Kawakita taking a stab at it. This is a new version. It's very Showa and very. It's beautiful to look at. It's like this big, long, lizardy. It's great. All 8 heads look great. There's another creature that was built in secret for the film that has just been revealed. The name of that creature escapes me, but there is a new suit. There are pictures out. There is now, as of last week. Yeah, as of last week, there's a new trailer for it. There have been little sneak peeks that have been released here and there, but now there's a little bit more of a
phenomenal.
It's beautiful, and it's less of a trailer and more of an effect sizzle reel edited to look epic. You don't see any of the human, like there haven't been any like human cast shots yet or anything. They're working on that. They're hoping to have the film done early next year, I believe. I think that's right. It's changed a few times. COVID shut them down. This Kickstarter was years ago, but they've been slowly trucking along, and I think it's going to be really special when it's done. So definitely follow Daisuke Sato on Twitter if you didn't back the Kickstarter and are not getting updates. Watch this trailer on YouTube, and just be ready for when this thing comes out, because I think it's going to be a really, really special film.
Yeah, it looks great. All of that, completely agree.
Yeah.
Elijah, I'll get you. We'll end with you on your topic that you want to discuss. I just want to give a quick shout out. The thing that just gave me a little bit of excitement was the Blu-ray releases of Giant Gila Monster.
Yes.
I mean, just
I almost.
I talked to an artist who's been in the industry for a very long time, working on horror magazines, doing artwork for that, and doing doing DVD covers, artwork for that. And and he mentioned that he said, there are like Humphrey Bogart movies that have not had Blu-ray releases. There are these iconic, these very important films to film history and film buffs who are really nerdy about films that have not come out on Blu-ray, yet we are getting things like the Giant Gila Monster. We're getting these kind of movies on Blu-ray, and it's just amazing the fact that we get those. I mean, the fact that we get those on a higher definition on Blu-ray, it just shows the market exists for monster movies. There is that love for monster movies. It is not just a ironic love of these things. It is an actual love. There's an actual love and appreciation for this stuff, and I just wanted to give a shout out to that. It's just amazing. Okay, Elijah, what of the topics that you read out do you want to discuss?
Well, everybody took all of them, and I was actually hoping that you were just going to talk about Kamen Rider, and I would just quietly. Not,
No, I mean I can say a lot about Kamen Rider Gotchard, but yeah, that I'm withholding my opinions until I actually see more of it.
so I wasn't going to pick one, but you've made me have to pick one. So I'm going to pick the thing that I think is the most Elijah thing to pick.
Oh God.
And so I'm going to talk
The
about
Thailand monster,
Vol-
the Thailand monster
He
movie.
beat me by 5 seconds.
I knew it. I know Elijah.
I was going to do the 4K, and then Michael took that, and then I was going to do the Shin Ultraman, and then Danny took that.
No,
and
I
then,
took that.
Nathan.
Oh, Nathan took that, and then Danny took the God, and then you
God.
took
I took the god.
and
He
then
took the god.
Ow.
and then you
stole a
took
god.
the
How did
Gila
that work?
monster.
You are now, Danny. You are now God tier. You are now
Yeah,
God.
he was
God
a
tier.
thief,
God tier,
apparently.
Danny.
Danny, you're
Yes.
a goat. You're a goat.
I'm a
Meh.
goat. Meh.
Yes.
There it is.
So I have picked the new Thailand monster movie. I'm excited. I'm always welcoming the birth of a new genre of monster movies from another country. Danny knows what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I want to put this out there. Kaiju.
Oh, I was thinking
Kaiju.
that. I was
Kaiju.
thinking that.
Kaiju cinema.
I've made that joke before, and it's a good one.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we should canonize it. I know, Travis. I think you should canonize that.
It
Taiju.
is Taiju.
Taiju.
Kaiju cinema.
Taiju
Taiju Ige.
So okay, full disclosure, I've only watched The Lake, but I have The Beast Below, and I don't know if the 100 has been released yet on physical. Danny, you can fact check me on that if I'm
Does
wrong.
Garuda count?
Garuda, I was going to bring up
Garuda
Garuda.
counts. That's I mean, yeah.
but
I don't
like
think
in
100 is out yet.
So I think it got picked up. I think Wells Go USA picked it up, but they
it's
haven't
not-
released it yet.
It's not. Yes, it hadn't been released. It's not out yet.
So it's just really cool to see this recent wave of monster movies from Thailand. I enjoyed The Lake, contrary to most people. I enjoyed The Lake.
I still haven't seen it. I need to watch it. I'll probably watch it.
I've
tonight.
seen it, although I had to watch the dub version, so I'm hoping that
It's very
a
good.
little bit better in the original language.
It's
and-
very good.
And I need to watch Leo, the Horned Monstrosity, or also known as the Beast Below. So I'm enjoying watching these films. I think it's cool to see them. It's like it might be a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Like I love the Chinese web movies of the giant.
Oh, yeah.
monsters.
Those are fun. Those
like
Yeah,
Snow
they are.
Monster versus Ice Shark is actually really good.
are they're better than you think. Those movies.
They're better than you think.
They're fun.
So I'm always willing to welcome other countries adding to the giant monster genre more. And you know, one thing that I do want to take away is in the last 2 weeks we've had a ton of announcements for new stuff. Midnight the Era, my
Look at
brain's
your notes.
dead. Brush of the God getting that announcement, Legend of the White Dragon getting a teaser trailer, Mortal Species, like all of these. It's great. It's
Where are the T-shirts?
I mean, Gila Monster and Killer Shrews getting, brand new
Yeah.
transfers. It's great to see. In the last 2 weeks, we've had announcements, we've had premieres, we've had so much. And it's really honestly, I couldn't pick one thing from this because it was really hard. Because all of the announcements have just been so amazing to see that we are getting so much. We're getting so much. And it's not just Godzilla. It's not just Ultraman. We are
It's
We
not
are-
it's not the kaiju or the giant monster Mount Rushmore of Godzilla, Ultraman,
yes.
and Kong and Gamera. Like it's all these little things too. All these little things. I mean, we talked about a few weeks ago. What was it? Kaiju. Is it 38? No, 34. What's the number? I always forget the number.
Kaiju number 8.
No. There's that one that's has the one
Hoshi
from
35.
There's a
Oh,
35.
she's 35.
Yes,
Yeah.
Koshi 35. Yeah, I always forget the number. That's the one I always forget the number, which now meaning it's 30 something. But yeah, so it's like all these like little monster movies that are not the big name ones are getting released and getting re-released and getting attention and stuff like that. It's just it's great, absolutely great.
And even to that point, there's some stuff building up. We're going to get some announcements for Kaiju Island of Fire that has got some actors
Yes.
like Tomoko Ai and Robert Scott Field both in it. So we are like July has been a great month. We've had
Kaiju
so
July.
much.
Kaiju July, you guys.
Kaiju July.
And so honestly, like if I could just go back and say I can't pick one. This is all great news.
It's difficult. It's
And
difficult.
Yeah.
And that like the last thing
The
I'm gonna
Whale
say here-
God. Like the Whale God. We got the announcement
Whale
about
God. Whale God.
The last
Yes.
thing I'm going to say here is it's just great that we are getting more than just one kaiju thing. And it's I mean we've got some bad news. We've had some difference of opinions, but we are getting content. And at the end of the day, the only thing we can ask for is
We're
more
getting
content.
too much content. We can't keep up with it.
And so it's
We
just
started
great.
from the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. And that's all I have.
Shout out to Married to Kaiju.
Hey.
I'm only here because I was promised a tattoo in the place of my choosing, salt and vinegar Pringles, and Elijah promised to show me the trick he does with his tongue.
What?
No, I can't hide anymore.
Elijah, you got some splaining to do.
Hello, Joe.
No, now,
Hello.
okay, before we get on to that, I do want to say the immortal, was it the immortal animals?
Hogan?
The
Immortal
the-
species.
yeah, the immortal species. I looked it up because I had not actually heard of this one, so I looked it up. It's an alligator movie, and I'm like I am such a like the alligator crocodile kind of weird movies are a guilty pleasure of mine. I love those. So seeing it now, knowing it's an alligator movie, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Speaking of those, have you watched Crocodile? Thanks.
I was about to ask. Have you
It's
watched
a Korean. It's a
The
Korean.
Korean
monster
one?
movie.
No, I haven't finished. I haven't watched the
You
Korean one
You
yet.
should watch it.
Love you too.
I
Jeff.
do.
Love
It is
you
on
too,
my
Joe.
list. So yeah, but that one's on my list. I do want to watch it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. It's not on Tubi yet, is it? Has it been
No.
put on Tubi yet? Yeah. So I was waiting for it to get on Tubi.
So it's
'cause
not,
I
Or
just-
so it's
not
not
to
to
be.
Dang it.
not
Dang
to
it.
be.
No
Yes.
one's ever told that joke before. Nailed it.
No.
Oh, I
No.
kill me.
No.
Stole it
Sad
from
trombone.
me.
Sad
So
trombone.
now we can move on to the toys and collectibles news. And Michael, I'm going to let you take over from here.
Oh, I'm not prepared. I didn't do anything. I didn't do any slides.
All right. Well, then moving on to comics.
I'm
and video
just
game news.
joking. I'm just joking.
I mean, those notes are empty.
I'm
They
just joshing you. I'm just joshing you. Hang on.
Hey, that looks familiar.
Wow,
Yeah.
that looks
On.
like the thing that we were talking about a little bit
He's
ago.
pretty hot. That's
It
pretty
does. It is. It's hot Goji summer for sure.
hot. And those-
Oh,
Those
that's
guys.
yes. We
John
are
Hughes
in the middle of a
presents
hot
Kaiju
kaiju
Weekly.
summer.
John Hughes
Oh.
presents Kaiju Weekly. Check it out.
Anyway, so what I meant, I can't. I got choked up because it's so beautiful.
It really is.
So we mentioned earlier we talked about -1 minus Goji because I'm not using the other name. And SH Monster Arts has debuted it. They brought this out pretty quickly after the film was announced. This articulated 6-inch figure that they're going to be selling for $135 that you can get at places like KaijuLive.shop and Toe Collectibles and other places.
You guys see what I mean about the spines being kind of? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Yes, you are
you're crazy. You're
Travis.
crazy,
You're
but-
crazy.
Yes.
That's not the answer he was looking for, but that's
No, I mean
Nevertheless-
it's the answer I expected.
it's the answer. That's
Travis,
the answer you got.
Am I crazy?
Yes.
Yes.
no.
Are you
follow-up.
sure?
We are now going 2 hours talking about monster movies, and like, yes, we're all a little crazy.
You know, speaking of monster movies, I just gotta say I've been drinking G Fuel all stream, and
I've been drinking
I feel like
non-specific
I've
branded
been
cola.
irradiated because
Hold
I
on.
found out that this has more caffeine.
I appreciate the fact that this thing looks really good in like the frontal view, because sometimes sometimes Godzilla
full frontal.
sometimes Godzilla has sometimes Godzilla
Monsterverse Godzilla looks awful frontal. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
some Godzillas don't look great in the
Monsterverse.
frontal view
From the front, yes.
from the front, but
Stop saying the word frontal. Just avoid it.
Yeah.
frontal.
No.
about
this-
Schwarzenegger packs. Look at him.
this-
He's been hitting the gym.
This Godzilla has a great frontal view. Like look at like the shape,
profile
like,
is great.
like it's
really
it's
is.
got some beautiful curves, like the thighs,
slippery slope, Elijah.
the chest, like
Oh,
Thick
no.
Thighs
thighs
save lives.
save lives.
Next
Thick
slide.
thighs,
Next slide.
Next slide. Okay.
like I can't wait to see like the back
I
view of
still
this
cannot
figure.
get past the nipple ring things. Like,
What
on
are
his
you
chest.
talking about?
There's two very distinctive little like things on his pectorals.
Are
That
you talking about like right there? These little guys
those
right
two
here?
the little they're
Those are
just-
way too close together. If that's
they
the case,
just stand
his-
out to me.
that's the case, his nipples are like pointing in. There's a form.
all right, keep
They
going,
were
Michael.
avenged. Move on.
I just want to say my eyes officially twitching.
Anyway, we're moving on. So SH Monster Arts, they're doing the Lord's work.
Yes.
This thing's
by
gorgeous.
giving this
It really is.
by giving this already. I'm not a big SH Monster Arts collector, but we have some in the stream that I know that will be getting this. I'm waiting for the big guys. I'm waiting for the big vinyls, which will come eventually. But speaking
So
of big vinyls,
Hey, there he is.
Oh
speaking
my
of big
God.
vinyls, speaking
at
of big
that.
vinyls, I know Eric.
It's
if
that
you're
suit
still
that got
around-
reused a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, how dare
So-
Toho do that?
So X Plus will be releasing this 30 centimeter Godzilla 1974 to pair with the 30 centimeter 1974 Mecha Godzilla. What makes this so incredibly special? It's part of their it's part of their favorite sculptors line of figures.
I think Eric's
which
in love.
Eric
It's
is in
beautiful.
love.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And it's part of their famous sculptors line, which they take existing kits and then reform and then just reuse them for vinyl figures. So this is the this is the Monster Maker 28 Godzilla 1974 kit. I believe it was released in 2012. Eric can correct me on the date. If Leslie's still around, Leslie would know that too. But this thing is gorgeous.
Same, Robert.
Absolutely gorgeous. This is not my favorite Godzilla design, but it's from one of my favorite movies. So yes, I'm obligated by all things kaiju related and to keep my G card. I'm obligated to get this. And what makes it special is it comes with a light up.
Ah!
Mhm.
Okay.
It
Oh
lights
my
up.
God.
It's going to
Rick?
pair perfectly with all of the Mecha Godzillas that you have.
Yes, it
Yeah,
will.
it is.
Yes, it
Is
will.
do all of them light up, Michael, or is that the Rick?
This is the RIC. So RIC stands for, we've talked about this before, but RIC stands for rare, interesting, and collectible. So this is the limited version. So I'm currently waiting for this to hit the US Shonen RIC site through X Plus, and I'll be ordering it there because that's literally the cheapest place you can buy some of this stuff.
So
instead of going
Michael,
through a third party.
how what price point are we looking at?
We're looking at, for the standard, you're looking at $145. For the
That's
RIC,
not that bad.
you're looking at 176, I
That's
believe.
not much more than the dang
I-
Monster Arts. That's
I
crazy.
might have to buy my first X Plus because oh my
But
God.
with
I was going to say
with-
I expected more.
with
Shipping.
shipping, expect to pay anywhere between if my math was correct, $225 to probably $230. So after shipping, after import costs. So expect to pay that. But it should be out in October. Pre-orders have already started for the Japan release. We should be getting the Shonen RIC USA store release very, very soon. So moving on. Speaking of X Plus, oh boy. Okay.
Before you describe this one, I just want to ask, because I had to ask last time we do this. Did you include my little baby boy? My little angry baby boy.
No, I did not.
Oh, come on, Michael. Every time I have something that I want to talk about in collectibles, you purposely leave it out.
I did not purposely do it. I literally was doing the notes at the top of the show because I've been napping all day. Is that okay? Is that enough? I have a confession. Okay, so I was doing the notes at the top of the show, too.
Go on about all the other stuff I don't care about.
Anyway. So this is the X Plus RMC Real Masters collection of the Destroyer aggregate. They released the Destroyer Perfect a few months ago. This is the one that will complement that. So this will be approximately 34 centimeters tall, and will scale perfectly.
See you later, Robert. Thanks
for
Robert. Stream.
Will scale perfectly with the Destroyer Perfect that just got released. And what makes this one special is it's modeled after the Black Dragon kit, which is a newer kit maker in the industry. So it's really fascinating that X Plus has decided to pick this sculpt up and use it as an RMC, like sort of poly resin. There we go, poly resin figure. Instead of just a true resin figure. So this will be approximately $315 USD. It is already right. I cough too. It is already up for pre-order from the Godzilla store. It was debuted last night during the live stream for the Godzilla store. It is gorgeous. I know our friend Eric Stolp of Bearded Kaiju Unboxings and Reviews is going to get one. Definitely. I'm going to pass on this just because I can only allocate so many funds to things like this. So, all right, something a little bit more affordable is the new Bandai Godzilla Minus One figure.
Yeah.
This should be showing up. At places like Daikaiju Showcase Daikaiju and other places on the internet. It's already available through the Godzilla store online.
It's part of the Movie Monsters or
series. It's Movie Monster series.
MMS. Love it.
Yeah. MMS. Yeah, it's part of the Movie Monster series. So there's a 6-inch version and there's an 8-inch version that's also available. But I would guarantee you're going to be able to pick these up at like Awesome Collector, Showcase Daikaiju, and other outlets. You may have to pay some extra import fees because this is about $35. Yes, Danny, you probably know about it.
About $35, something like that. There's a bit of a markup when it comes over from Japan. I will probably, this is probably one I'll wait a hot minute on because it's been my experience that most MMS Godzillas eventually trickle onto Amazon for maybe like 20 to 25. So it's more or less a question of how long do I want to wait to get the new Godzilla? Because usually I cave and I get it pretty fast. I mean, I got my MMS Shin Godzilla in Japan at the theater for like $22. So if that shows you how much the markup tends to be, but the markup makes sense because these guys have got to earn some kind of money on this. They have to import them. So I only mention that because sometimes I see people ask about why that markup is there, why it's necessary. That is why. It's to help support these guys so that they can eat, so they can get this stuff over. But I'm getting this. Oh, hey, what's up,
Jordan? Hey,
Jordan, Realist Goji fan. Thank you. Wanted to give a shout out.
There's a really funny story about Jordan from G-Fest that I'll have to tell you guys off the off cast because I don't want to. Let's just say it's a little spicy.
Ooh, okay.
It's a little spicy. All
right.
Moving on. So it looks great. It gives us a good look of the new Godzilla and people, and most likely you'll be able to pick this. If you can't, you'll be able to pick this up places like Amazon. And if you,
you said, move on.
Yeah, move it.
I'm trying to keep us on time.
How dare you? Anyway,
you're the one that you took my little angry boy off the list. So
Wonderfest is coming up, and there's going to be a ton of new releases. There was so much that we just don't have time to talk about it. But I picked this one because it's from our friends at Spiral Toy or Spiral Studios.
Represent.
Spiral, our friend AJ Russo. This is going to be their Wonderfest, their Japan Summer Wonderfest exclusive Shin Godzilla Sofubi. It's part of their Vinyl Monsters archive line. It looks really great. It's about 10 inches tall. No, I don't believe price is available yet, but it's going to be very limited and very hard to get. But if you look on Buy after Wonderfest next weekend, you should be able to find one. So I think it looks tremendous. And we have new posters coming out of Mondo for Destroy All Monsters. This beautiful full color version, which I was able to get, and this Japanese version. The full color English version is available at mondoshop.com still, but unfortunately, the Japanese one is sold out. As per
do you have the artist's name there?
I do not have the artist
I
name.
follow him on Twitter, but I can't remember his name.
I would have to. I need to look up the artist name. I forgot to. But yeah, these posters are gorgeous. The full color English version was $80. The Japanese version was $100, which for these types of posters, that's not terrible. It's still on the expensive side, I think. But like I said, I did pick up the American version, and it should be out in the next few months, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And it's part of the San Diego Comic-Con things that they're going to be releasing.
It's Florian Bertmer.
Florian Bertmer. Okay. Yeah. He's done a few other posters for Mondo in the past, and I really like his art style. And I just love this poster because I love Destroy All Monsters. I don't care what Elijah says. And speaking of monsters and SDCC and all the goodness coming out of these toy manufacturers, Super 7 is going to be doing a Space Godzilla and Heisei Mogura with bonus Super Pack. I know Danny is personally excited about this guy. I believe they're going to be $85 a piece. If you buy them as a set, it's going to be $170.
I'm suddenly less excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, the Ultimates, because in the interim we've had a sneak peek at what the a couple of the Ultimates look like, and hasn't been outstanding in hand.
Right.
So I mean, between these two, see, this is difficult for me because I have a soft spot for both of these characters and the movie. I love that Space Godzilla comes with crystals. That's so cool. I have a big soft spot for 90s Mogera. I think I'm the only person on the planet who does. But I have an
appreciation for it.
Thank good. Okay, you and me, Nate. I love this design, and I like that it's not quite accurate. The eyes are narrowed. They're much more narrow than the suit version. He looks angrier. He looks like he looks like he's suspicious of your bank activity. Look at him. He's like,
you are spending money on me.
Yeah, he looks like one of those squinty-eyed, suspicious memes. Like, I don't know about that. Hi, I'm still here.
I think the designs are good. It's just that they're tarnished by the movie that they're in.
Eric says if you buy as a set, you get an exclusive extra headset from Super 7.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. They have beam shooting heads. Yep, there they are. There they are.
They have beam shooting heads.
They got beam heads.
Beam shooting heads needs to be a new technical term.
Or like an alternative rock band.
We are the beam shooting heads.
Space G and the beam shooters. There it is. I like it. I like that. I don't know. I find it interesting that you can, like, Monster Arts has opening and closing mouths and attachable and detachable beams, but if you want an open mouth for a Super 7, you have to have the head, a completely different head. And if you want to have it with beams, you have to have a third head. It's just another way to do it. No right or wrong way necessarily. Just an alternate way to do it.
That's argue. We can debate that.
Yeah, it's worth debating, but I quite like it. I like these heads a lot. I like the sculpts a lot. $80 a pop's kind of I mean, I get it, but like for me, I don't know. I haven't actually ordered or pre-ordered any of the Ultimates so far.
They're up for pre-order right now. Yeah,
They are, and they do have a cap on these too. It's I think, right?
it
They
is
have
made to.
made
Well,
to
the
order.
Ultimates line is made to order,
but they have a
right, so
cutoff
they-
date.
They do. They do.
Right?
It's usually 30 days. It's usually 30 days
Oh,
after
okay.
the announcement and release. So you have 30 days to place your order. They will show. They have been showing up on Big Bad Toy Store. You can order them directly from Super 7. I think Kaiju Live used to carry them. Two.
Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
Yes.
See the beam shooting heads live with openers Danny Took the God this summer.
Danny,
All right, we
took
I
the
need to add
God.
those to the list of fictional bands on MIFV now.
Danny
All right,
took
since-
the God.
Since
I
we
would
got to
listen to
move on, hang on. Let me
that. We
let me
got to
stop
talk
shit.
about. We got to talk about the one thing though.
we got to talk about the one thing.
I saw a
the one
picture.
thing.
I saw the picture of it flash up.
You did see the picture of it.
Yeah,
you did,
yeah,
you
just
did,
for a
you did
second.
see it. Hang on,
Okay.
hang on. If
No,
you
do it now,
if
Michael.
you'll give
Do
me a minute,
Do it, Michael.
give
What's taking
no,
you so long, Michael? Do-
give me a minute. I'm trying.
Michael,
to
Michael,
do
Michael, come
something.
on, Michael.
I'm trying to do.
Oh, there he
something.
is.
Yeah, we got to talk
There
about him
he is, my
too.
little angry boy.
I
My
quite
little
like this
angry
guy.
baby boy.
I quite like this little Bon Presto. He's adorable.
I do. I don't know where he's gonna pop up to pre-order from. Danny, you would
Yeah,
probably
that's
know
the
better than
thing
me.
is I have not heard anything
know.
about
Is he-
him. He
oh,
has been
God.
officially
This
announced.
little thing is the textbook definition of cute when he's angry.
Is he
is-
a lottery figure? I hope he's not. Is he?
I
No.
hope. Oh, that's a good point. That could possibly be a
Bon
lottery
Prestos
figure.
I
tend to be lottery figures. So
no, that's not true.
not
Because,
not
because
across
man-
the board, but
yeah.
like this
Right.
this reeks of potential lottery figure to me. I
Oh,
don't know why.
please no, don't let
I would
it
hope
be.
I would hope it isn't. It's a concern because
Mhm.
again, when I was in Japan when Shin came out, I entered multiple raffles to try to get or multiple lotteries at different toy stores to try to get the Bon Presto Shin Godzilla that was out that year, and I won a bunch of clear files with posters on them and a few stickers and like maybe a magnet and a poster, but I didn't win. Because I tried so many times, but I never won the Bon Presto.
No.
Bon Presto makes really good stuff. This is
Yes.
really
Well,
really
all of my Kamen Rider figures that I have on my wall are Ban Presto.
Yeah, I
Um,
just got a Ban Presto Ultraman Zero a few weeks ago.
they do good
Yeah.
work. This is
Yeah, Ban
definitely
Presto is great. Ban Presto is like a good middle ground between being cheap on on your wallet, but still being a decent quality. Like they're not the highest quality. They're not necessarily they're a step above the like monster movie or the movie monster series.
I think their Godzilla 1989 release is one of the best ones they've ever put out.
Mhm.
this thing has
So-
definitely has defo real vibes.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
it
and
almost
I really
looks
do
like
not want
a
this to be a lottery figure.
Yeah,
I
it
have no
almost looks
proof
like
of
a more realistic Funko Pop.
Actually, yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
kind of has a little bit, except he doesn't have black eyes like a doll's eyes, Chief.
Black eyes. Like a
But he
dog.
my little angry boy. He my little angry baby boy. I love
Mhm.
him and I want him.
You gotta
Okay.
get him. You gotta get him.
Yes.
Okay, you got it. You got it. We will move heaven and earth, and God and Danny will talk to God to get this for you.
Yo,
After he
All right.
takes him.
moving
oh
on.
boy. Anyway,
Not if you're
so
listening. I apologize for my friends.
this is actually what Danny wanted to talk.
This is
about.
what I wanted to see.
Yes.
This is
It-
what we actually wanted to talk about.
This is
Yeah. My thing
This-
was not as important.
No,
This
no, they were
is-
both important, but this is cool.
This is Aztec Godzilla. This is sculpted by Hector Arce. What is his name? Arce, I think Arce. This is through Mondo. This is one of their 10-inch vinyl figures. It's an art. This thing is just gorgeous because it's an art piece. Really.
Yeah.
This is
It's just a work. It's just an art piece. And this
I
is-
think I think when the Mechagodzilla that you can actually see behind it there, when that one was announced and we saw that I mentioned, and I don't know if because I don't think you guys know that much about the comic book collectibles, but Nathan, you probably know when DC was putting out the line of Batman figures that was all the different artists. So like you had a Jim Lee, you had a Frank Miller, and so they were all these different Batman statues, but they were all done in the art style of whatever artist. And so you could collect all of them, or you could just pick out your favorite artists. That's what the Mechagodzilla thing back there reminded me of. That's what this reminds me of. It's just like they just find an artist who has a very unique style, and they take that style and they make a figure based on that style.
Yeah, this art, the artist that this is modeled after is one called Urban Aztec. So they do a lot of like Aztec style art and other things. So they did this Godzilla and they brought it into they're bringing it into vinyl form. It's gorgeous. We don't know a price tag on it. I'm guessing we're looking
$1
at
million.
No,
$1
probably like
million.
so anywhere between 250 and 3, I think is what's going to be the number.
These are art pieces.
These are art pieces.
A bit too rich for my blood, but it is beautiful. This
is why, and Eric and other people in the chat that collect vinyl toys, like the vinyl Sofubi. This is why you collect Sofubi. You collect them because they're art pieces. They're not just They're not just toys. They're works of art, right? So that's why you collect this type of stuff.
Jordan saying, being Puerto Rican, this Godzilla is a must need in my Hispanic household.
Absolutely.
He's already left the chat, but I think Robert Kelly would say the same thing because I think he would really appreciate this too. So, but he's already left the chat. So yeah, I'm sure he knows about this release already though.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I want one really badly. I hope that it's not just I hope that it says winter 2023. I don't know if that's the pre-order day or the pre-order window or when it's supposed to be released. If it's released in winter 2023, we should start seeing pre-orders for this soon, along with probably the Mechagodzilla in the back, and you can see it in the background there. Yeah, I really want this because like you said, it is an art piece, and I appreciate good.
I love that it also brings in a little bit of a cultural thing too.
Yeah.
Being based on Aztec designs,
which
and artwork.
Admittedly, that doesn't mean that I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to say. I hope it does. I hope this doesn't come off as rude. It does. That part of it doesn't mean as much to me as it would other people. With like our friend Jordan, as our friend Jordan pointed out. But in terms of it just being an art piece from a really highly respected artist, that's why I want it. That's why I want it. And bringing in that cultural aspect to it is great too. Like this is a must.
It's what makes it a unique art piece.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm a sucker for this aesthetic. Anyway, I find this kind of art to be just absolutely gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
This kind
absolutely
of
beautiful.
This Aztec style reminds me of the Quetzalcoatl. Reliefs that you'll find on pyramids and such. It's just
that art style and the aesthetic from that culture is becoming more mainstream, is getting a lot of mainstream attention. We had Black Panther, Wakanda Forever recently that kind of brought it to the mainstream. There's a video game that poorly is bringing it to the forefront, but at least that it is getting people talking about it. And then this aesthetic and this culture is getting some mainstream recognition in that way. This art style.
I know we have to move on. We could probably gush about others. There's a ton of stuff, and there will be more stuff to talk about next week because we're coming out of SDCC. That's this weekend. Wonderfest is next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's going to be a ton of stuff to talk about, so we'll save it for next time. But let's pitch it over to Mr. Marchand for comics and video games.
And boy, this has been the fullest that it's been in a while. Does anyone have pictures? Because I've got pictures.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay.
Where do you want to start?
Okay.
The Marchand
We're starting with the big one. we're starting with this. This is kind of huge, I have to say.
Squirrel Girl versus Godzilla.
At long
You
last,
wish. No, we have a
yeah, I
Justice
kinda
League
wish.
versus Godzilla versus Kong. This was just announced at SDCC. This is bonkers.
Yeah.
This is absolutely bonkers. So you remember that line in the dub version of Godzilla versus Hetero where Ken says, remind me now, how does he say it exactly? He's like, yeah, he can't beat Superman.
well, in the original Japanese, he says, he says he's a Superman. He's comparing him to Superman.
Right.
But in the AIP dub, he says Superman beats them all.
Superman beats them all. Well, now we can finally settle that because it's happening.
I'd like to point out too, this when they say the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, they mean the entire Justice League. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
I
not
know
messing
right
around.
here
Yeah,
in this cover that we have here, we see Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but in other covers, we see in other leaks or not leaks, but like previews, we see like they are bringing in the entire Justice League. It's not just
Right.
a few of them.
Yeah, this is a collaboration between DC Comics, obviously, and Legendary Comics. So it's not IDW. I think all of the Legendary, all the MonsterVerse comics are handled by Legendary Comics and not IDW.
Yes.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when this actually got leaked, I think the day before SDCC, it was supposed to be an SDCC announcement.
Mhm.
And people weren't sure if it was real at first. I wasn't
Yeah.
100% sure if it was real, but it
Well,
was
they made the
confirmed
mistake.
within a day.
They made the mistake. They were handing out DC, was it the DC exclusive magazine?
Mhm.
And it had this as a preview in it, and they were handing them out on Thursday, prior to SDCC, and people were already posting them on social media, but the announcement wasn't supposed to happen until Friday.
They
Right.
should have known.
That was
Yeah,
their fault.
they really should have known. But to
Oh,
give you a quick rundown on this, we've got writer Brian Buccellato. Is that how you say his name? Buccellato?
Let's just say
Buccellato.
yes. Let's say
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, who's worked on The Flash, Injustice, and Detective Comics. Artist Christian Duce. Yeah, who's worked on Batman / Fortnite Zero Point. Colorist Lou Guerrero. The first issue, the first of 7 issues, will drop October 17th, and our synopsis is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong will be published on October 17th with a main cover by Drew Johnson and variant covers by Jim Lee. That's exciting. Scott
which is
Williams.
this cover.
What?
This cover is the Jim Lee cover.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm reading the notes, so I'm not seeing
That's fine.
the stream right here. Raphael Albuquerque, Francesco Matina, and Dan Mora and Alan Qua. I hope I said all those names right. Also include 2 Kong and Godzilla roar sound effects gatefold variant covers.
Which
Yes!
I'm interested to see.
I may have to track those down just because
What do those even look like? Because I have to know. I have to
does
see
that work?
those.
I've seen book covers that will have that have stuff like that, so they're a little bit thicker. I guarantee you, those are going to be highly sought, highly collectible, and really expensive.
How does that technology work in something with paper as thin as a comic?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
really don't
that's why-
know.
And I want to know.
I'll
I
be
wanna see
curious
those.
to see how that works.
And yes, and
I
they will
mean-
have sound chips that make noise. So
I mean,
excuse me.
Danny, remember we picked up the Destroya record from Mondo?
Yeah, it had a pull tab on it.
No. You just open it. You open it, and it's in a Destroyer roar happens.
Yeah, because the
Right, because
inside flap
it has a
tab
tab
on it.
that
Yeah.
pulls when you open. It's just like
Yeah.
the Hallmark cards.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
a
That's what-
comic has the paper, the inside paper. But I'm guessing that they're going to be using like a stiffer card stock for the
Probably,
covers
yeah.
for these.
Most
Something a little
Um,
closer to the Destroya cover.
Right.
It may
Mhm. Yeah.
even be they may even do like a sort of a somewhat hardcover for it, like a thin hardcover. I would
I'd
say.
be down with that. I'd be down.
Yep.
So
So, quick synopsis here. That was wrong.
Go
That
ahead.
was just some more information. Here's the synopsis. In Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, what starts as a routine clash between the Justice League and the Legion of Doom, that's kind of exciting if we're going to get the Legion of Doom in this, at least
Yes.
for a little while, takes a dangerous turn when the wall between worlds is breached, with Godzilla, Kong, and the Monsterverse emerging on DC's Earth. What ensues will be a brawl of unprecedented scale and destruction. The epic crossover begins when Clark Kent, enjoying a night off with Lois Lane, is interrupted when the entire city shudders under the weight of the monstrous Godzilla who emerges from the bay. So they're throwing a lot of stuff into this. This is just nuts. We've had Justice League and Power Rangers. We've had Godzilla and Power Rangers. Now we have Justice League with Godzilla and Kong. This is bonkers.
Yes. So two things that you didn't include in your notes, I don't think. In the panel discussion about this comic, they said that Godzilla is, in the Monsterverse, is supposed to be the ultimate balancer. He's supposed to bring balance to the earth, and anytime there's an imbalance, that's when he awakens and goes on the rampage. When he is brought into a world full of metahumans and superpowers and supervillains, what do you think is going to happen? The world is chaotic and crazy. He's going to try to bring balance to that. I cannot stress how excited I am for this comic. It is 7 issues, which is unusual for a limited run. The limited run usually is 6 issues. This is 7.
This is 7. Yeah, I wonder if they're doing that so they can. Well, no, because if it starts in October, it's going to go a couple of months after Godzilla Cross Kong.
Yeah. No, well,
The GXK.
Well, it also depends on, because I think GXK, we haven't heard an official announcement, but I really think the GXK is going to get delayed. So, we'll see.
Why? Real quick.
Because of the strike.
Because of the strikes.
Legendary is considering moving a handful of their films right now. Dune's on the chopping block.
Yes.
I thought
if
that
this
was
is-
just Warner for this year.
Nope. Suck it up.
Nope.
Keep it on the. Nope. Just suck it up. Give us the dang movie. Suck it up, guys. Come on.
It's well, here's the thing, because and I know this is getting off topic, but with the SAG strikes, the actors in the film cannot promote a film.
True.
They cannot do a red carpet. They cannot do interviews. They cannot go on podcasts to talk about the movie. There
They
is
can't do press
no promotion
junkets.
for the movie.
Yeah.
So a lot of the studios are looking at that and saying, well, maybe if we push back our movies until a future time, the studios are thinking it's just going to blow over, but the SAG people will hopefully get a resolution that benefits them, and then they'll be able to promote these movies and stuff. So that's what the hope is, and why moving forward or pushing it forward is up for discussion for a lot of these movies. And with Warner Brothers and Legendary pulling their SDCC Hall H appearance and everything, I really think that there's a real chance that GXK is going to get pushed back. But yeah, no, I am supremely excited for this. Like I said,
Right.
The fact that we have the whole Justice League, because I mean we have Hawk Girl in this cover. This is a Jim Lee cover. We have Hawk Girl. We have Batman in his.
I was going to
giant
say,
net.
do you know the full lineup? Because
No.
the core Justice League does change a little bit.
Yes, it does change all the time, and so
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and I would say Green Lantern are probably the most guaranteed to be in this.
Green Lantern's
Well, I mean,
literally
we have Hal Jordan right here. But what's interesting is because one of the other covers show Jessica Cruz Green Lantern, so there's going to be 2 Green Lanterns involved in this.
Isn't
we have
Cyborg in a cover? I'm pretty sure Cyborg
he
was
might have
in
been. I tried to pull as many of the covers and the artwork. Superman is the big one.
Looks cool.
Superman is the big one. That is the one that they are pushing as like the marketing is like Superman versus Godzilla.
I remember reading a fan fiction about this back in the day.
I just can't believe that that's a real thing. Like this, listen to that. Superman versus Godzilla is now a canon sentence we can say.
Yeah,
That's
and
mind
hopefully
blowing.
it goes over better than Superman versus Goku.
here's the thing. As excited as I am by the
Godzilla is
concept,
scary.
he does. As excited as I am by this concept, and judging by what you've heard that was said at the panel, it does sound like they're trying to utilize elements of the respective universes to see like what happens if you throw one into another.
Hmm.
I am hoping that this is a much more interesting story than, as exciting as the novelty was, than the Godzilla versus Power Rangers one ended up being, because it was only a serviceable story, and it was just going for sheer spectacle and cool factor, and it just felt pretty empty by
I'm
comparison.
just
The Power Rangers Justice League crossover, we talked about it on the
Was
Power Trip,
better.
Michael. It
Was
was
be- it was a-
better, and
It was a
the
better
story was better. It was
crossover.
more meaningful. So I'm
Right.
hoping we get that here. I am a little surprised. I guess it makes sense. They're using Godzilla a heck of a lot more in the promotion of this. I get it, but I want Kong to have a meaningful role.
No,
in
there
this.
was
We did get the panels
Yeah.
shown of the Legion of Doom on Skull Island crossing paths.
Yes,
with,
and Gorilla
Skull-
Grodd. Gorilla
Yes, with
Grodd beats
Gorilla Grodd.
Kong.
So characters, you asked me about characters. I don't have any. We haven't had an official list of all the characters that will appear, but the ones that we have seen in covers and in previews of pages is for the Legion of Doom. We've seen Titana. We've seen Lex Luthor. We have seen Gorilla Grodd. I know I'm missing at least one more in there that we saw. I can't remember.
Captain Cold?
Yeah,
Captain
I think
Cold?
it was Captain Cold.
Okay.
Gorilla Grodd, I love. I mean, just absolutely a huge fan of Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd is literally a psychic, talking, intelligent gorilla bent on taking over the world, and he comes from a Planet of the Apes country.
Yes, I am thinking that he is. I mean, because his whole thing is mind control. That's kind of like a thing for his character. So I'm thinking that he is probably going to try to mind control Kong and use the mind controlled Kong to fight Godzilla. Maybe.
You know how that's going to end?
Yeah. Yeah. Which we see that preview of the foot coming down.
Yeah,
So-
Kong bows to no one.
Also,
as far as
it is worth mentioning that other monsters are confirmed for this book.
Yes,
but
that's
they just
what I was
won't.
going to get
They
to.
just won't say who yet.
That's what I was going to
Eric's
get to.
ahead of me. Eric's ahead of me.
I was going to get to that the panel also revealed that there are other monsters besides just Godzilla and Kong. So, what does that include? I mean, we did
Established
see the
monsters?
Skull Crawler. We
A
did see the Skull
Skullcrawler,
Crawler.
okay.
So, I mean, that is one.
I hope when Superman sees Kong, he makes a reference to Titano.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
But as far as Justice League characters, so we've seen Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Bat Mech, which, by the way, that is not something that was invented for this comic. That is a long running thing that Batman has had, a giant mech to fight giant monsters or giant whoever. We've like I said, we have Hal Jordan showing up in one of the covers. We have Jessica Cruz showing up in another cover. Hawkgirl. I have not seen the Flash yet, but I wouldn't put it past him from using the Flash because the Flash.
I think I've seen the Flash in somewhere in some of the promotions I've seen.
He's actually he's in this picture right now, but he's moving so fast you can't see him.
Moving so fast.
Oh
you
yeah.
can't see him. Yeah. I think maybe there's a reason why they haven't put the Flash in a lot of their promo stuff, but maybe. We also have Supergirl. Supergirl,
yes, I saw. Yeah, she,
which is very interesting. And so I think this is the core Justice League is going to be there, and then when the core Justice League gets stomped, because we have seen a panel or a preview of a giant like Godzilla footprint with the Superman cape in it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying
I think when Justice League gets stomped, they're going to call in the reinforcements, and you're going to get a lot more. More like a Justice League Unlimited style.
Which is going to be exciting because now Godzilla will have crossed paths with the two biggest superhero teams.
Yes.
Because back in the 70s when Marvel had the license, in the final two issues, he fought the Avengers.
So Godzilla has crossed over with the DC universe and all of their superheroes, the Avengers, Spider-Man, the Champions, the West Coast Avengers,
West Coast Avengers, yep.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Fantastic
So
Four.
Devil
it is-
Dinosaur.
Shield.
Devil
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
Yes.
So
Shield.
yeah.
If you want to,
So-
if you want to count it,
Hero Zero.
if-
Charles
if-
Barkley.
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Hero Zero, Charles Barkley. Godzilla just needs to fight Hellboy, and the prophecy will be fulfilled.
Yes.
You know,
And
speaking of
that is a
Hellboy,
good
and the Power
segue.
Rangers. So
That is actually a very good segue into another bit of news that we've had.
oh, you want to go to that one and then we'll do the video game last?
yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
have
let's
two
do
more
comic.
comics.
Yeah, let's do all comics. And then we'll
Okay,
get to
so
the video
next
game.
up we have Giant Robot Hellboy.
I did not get a picture for this one.
Oh, you
I have to-
didn't? Oh crap.
No,
Let
I have
me
to pull it
I'll
up.
bring it up. I had a picture.
Well, I can get it. Hold on.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
You want here, I'll share the screen here really quick. I've got it I've got it open in a tab. Yep. Giant Robot Hellboy.
Yes,
Robot
yes,
Hellboy.
Yes.
Mecha
yes,
Hellboy.
Yes, yes.
Mecha Hellboy, yeah. So this is from Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, and artist Duncan Federigo. They're longtime collaborators, although Mike Mignola is both a writer and an artist. So I know a lot of he did a lot of Hellboy comics when Hellboy first came around. But
Yes.
from what I was reading, because I'm not as familiar with the newer Hellboy stuff, he's done a lot of collaborations with Duncan. So you know,
Yes.
this is
Mike
a-
Mignola hasn't done the art for a Hellboy comic for a while now.
Mhm.
He's been because he's using like his energy is now going into writing more comics than what he could do if he was writing and doing the artwork.
Right,
Please.
right.
So-
However, this was inspired by a viral hit pencil drawing he did in something called
Mhm.
Mike Mignola, the Quarantine Sketchbook. This was an idea he had during 2020 during quarantine, and he drew it and put it up online,
Yes.
and it was a massive hit. So
I
now he's
remember
actually
that.
making it.
I follow
into
Mike
a comic.
Mignola on social media, so
Mhm.
I see a lot of the stuff that he posts. He is actually a tokusatsu fan, just much like
yes,
Guillermo
he
del
actually
Toro.
said this
He
was
is a
inspired by classic Japanese tokusatsu and Godzilla
Mhm.
and Kaiju and things like that. So this will be 3 issues, and it'll be out just a week after Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, so October 25th, just in time
Mhm.
for Halloween, as it was saying. And there will be variant covers for this one as well. That's the new gimmick in comics. Issue 1 will have a variant cover by
new.
Mignola and Stewart. What?
it's not new. It's been around.
Well,
for a
it's been
while.
going on for a while, but
Yeah.
that's the current gimmick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the current covered gimmick. But anyway, and then issue 2 will have a variant cover by the award-winning Shaolin Cowboy cartoonist Jeff Darrow and Dave Stewart. And issue 3 will have a variant by Art Adams himself.
Yes, the man.
I don't know. When was the last time Art Adams did some kaiju art?
That was actually what I was going to say.
About 4 years,
2019.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
For
so it's
the
been a
crowd.
little
I
while.
didn't know
It's been a
that.
hot
I
minute.
thought Art Adams had basically moved on from
Oh no.
doing has not done any
Oh, no,
kaiju
no.
monster stuff.
Also, whoa, didn't he? Okay, so in 2019, he did a variant cover for the legendary comic book, the Godzilla book that came out that year, Dominion.
Yeah. Yes.
Aftershock.
He did the
Aftershock.
Aftershock.
And he
Aftershock.
also didn't
okay,
he also
yeah,
do,
you're right.
He also
King
did one
Kong
of the
versus.
yeah, he
King
did
Kong
one of
versus.
the splash pages for the Criterion.
Oh,
set.
that's that's right.
King Kong versus
Oh,
Godzilla.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Well,
is true.
he's
That is
he's
true.
still into this. Mike Mignola has gone on record as saying that he, because again, this was inspired by a sketch he did in his pandemic book, and listening to Art Adams and Jeff Darrow, who worked on, I believe, Gangsters and Goliaths, unless I'm mistaken. I'm pretty sure he did a cover for one of the IDW books.
He did a couple, I think.
He did a few, but he was like, these two guys will just sit around talking about kaiju all day long, so they inspired me to do this. So yeah, they're bigger fans of it than he is, for sure. And this is so cool. As a Hellboy fan, as somebody who really respects Mignola's creative mind, this is a combination that's almost like too good for my brain to process. I love this. This is cool. Look at this. Like, this is cool. This is cool as all get out.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't find any story details right now. It's just it was an SDCC announcement. I'm curious what the story is actually going to be. But Hellboy comics do tend to be pretty wild.
They do.
Mhm.
So I'm excited. I'd like to see what's going to go on with this. Mike Mignola is a pretty solid creator. Hellboy, he's very indie in his mindset. So yeah, and because this will be published by Dark Horse. Correct me if I'm wrong, Travis. I think that Hellboy is creator owned, right?
Yes,
Yes.
everything Dark Horse is creator owned.
Okay, well, except for the movie tie-in stuff.
Yeah, that's a little bit different,
Well-
but he still gets some checks from that. That's
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but no, I mean like because they did a lot of movie tie-in comics, like they had the Star Wars and Alien and Predator
Right.
license and things. That's what I mean. But
Yeah,
like
other than
Image,
licensed
everything's
stuff.
creator owned.
Yeah, anything that is directly from a creator, the creator still owns the rights to it. Their
Mhm.
licensed stuff, it's obviously licensed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is like I said, I think this will be pretty fun. It's pretty exciting, and once we get some more story details, we'll give you some updates. Okay, so
Okay.
do you have a picture for our next one?
Yes,
Of
yes,
the
I
video.
do.
Well, let me
me-
do the last bit of comic news. It's very quick because I couldn't find any information about it other than it's been announced. But we have a graphic novel tie-in for Godzilla X Kong. It's called Godzilla X Kong: The Hunted.
Yep.
It'll be a
Mhm.
tie-in with the movie. All I know is that it's a tie-in with the movie. It's going to be released February 27th, 2024. So theoretically, a couple of weeks before the movie. And that's all we know so far. All I
Yep.
could find for it was a picture someone took of just an
Mhm.
announcement
The
image
panel.
at SDCC.
I
Yeah.
hope that they delay if they're going to delay the movie, I want them to delay the comic because I don't want them to
They won't.
spoiled by the
Unfortunately,
book.
comic book contracts, I don't know if they allow for that.
It's the
I don't-
reason that if you go to McDonald's right now, you can get Captain Marvel Happy Meals, and that movie doesn't come out for months because they kept delaying the movie. There are other entities involved, and that would have involved breaking
Yep.
contract. And Legendary has to make sure they have to. It's bottom line stuff. So
this will be Legendary Comics producing.
yeah, exactly. Also, it is
Yeah.
worth noting that they did announce 2 books at that panel. They announced The Hunted, and they also announced Monarch Declassified, which is kind of a
Yes.
comic form
Oh.
bestiary from the sound of it.
Mhm.
With
Okay.
that
I was
has
just
him
saying,
in it.
I read
was
about
that
that.
okay?
Yeah,
I
which
didn't-
I'm
I
looking
wasn't
forward to
exactly sure what
that
was.
because like we could legitimately get our first glimpses of some of the Titans that were mentioned in King of the Monsters but never shown officially. We might be able to actually see images of them, or at least in comic book form, in
If-
art
Mhm.
form.
I mean, I'll probably
But still.
I'll pick it up regardless. I just don't. I'm gonna try my best not to like open the book and read it until
I
see the
don't
movie.
think it will have spoilers.
Yeah,
Those
they're
ti-
pretty
those
good about
comic book
comic books
tie-ins
not
don't
having
typically have
spoilers for
spoilers,
this
yeah.
reason.
So what I've learned about those books is that they want you to read them before you see the movie.
That's why
because
it's being
when-
released before.
When Pacific
Yeah.
Rim came out and Tales from Year Zero premiered, I bought Tales from Year Zero before I saw Pacific Rim, but I didn't read it because I didn't want spoilers. And that was fine, but I decided to do the opposite when 2014 came out. I read Awakening first and then saw the
Mhm.
movie. And no, that's the other way around. I think I read Tales from Year Zero, then saw Pacific Rim, and I liked it. But for Godzilla, I just wanted to avoid that's what happened. I wanted to avoid spoilers, so I read Awakening after I saw 2014, and then I read it, and I thought, yeah, I should have read this before I saw the movie. It would have enriched the experience. So since then, all the MonsterVerse prequel graphic novels I have read before the movies, because
Yeah.
that's kind of why they're there. That's why they exist.
Yeah.
So
They
no
they will
spoilers.
not spoil anything. They are more like filling in gaps that will not be deeply explained in the movies. A good example is what happened to Skull Island, in Godzilla versus Kong. Why is it, surrounded by a giant storm? And if you read the comic, well, you find out, or at least get a hint of it. So
Exactly.
it's like
Mhm.
stuff like that. So I don't think there's a reason why they don't do that, because because things like this, the comic will come out before the movie probably.
Mhm. And speaking of Skull Island,
Yes. So let me share.
yeah, get that up there. We have a new Kong video game, Skull Island Rise
Yeah.
of Kong, which has been announced for the PS5, the Xbox Series X/S, the PS4, Xbox One Switch, and the PC. This is from game publisher Game Mill Entertainment, developer Iguana Bee. I haven't heard of either of these companies. It will be an action adventure game. You can watch a trailer for it. This was another SDCC announcement.
Yes.
And according to the articles that I've read, it is based both on the original King Kong movie, supposedly, and the Joe DeVito Skull Island books.
One of those things is true, the other is not.
Well, I am simply reporting what has been said.
This is entirely within the Joe DeVito King Kong universe, which is inspired by and a twist on the 33-ish universe, but it legally cannot be tied to the movies. This is spun off from the Lovelace public domain book. That's the only reason this exists. So it is
Shout
not
out to Giant Monster.
Yes.
We're family friendly. Grattan, how are you doing?
Who's there?
Yeah,
Who's there?
knock. Who's there?
Anyway,
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
I
hit
got
the wrong
both.
button.
I got both.
Oh, I hit the wrong
so-
button
so
by
real-
accident.
I'm counting
Anyway,
both, sir.
Real
Anyway,
quick,
so-
Nathan,
Anyway, we got to keep going.
real quick. Game Mill and Iguana Bee did the G.I. Joe game. that
Okay, I
came out
played
a
that.
a few years ago.
yeah, I played that.
So that's just an example of what they've
Yeah.
done.
So just a couple of excerpts from some articles I read describing this game. So it says Skull Island Rise of Kong will cost $39.99 for the standard edition. A digital deluxe colossal edition will also be available for $49.99, which includes 8 exclusive film grains featuring the ability to experience a red tinted rage mode and the original look of the classic 1933 and 1970s era King Kong films. The Kong style pack with 8 different colors, so you can choose your own Kong, a boss rush mode allowing you to defeat all the titans of Skull Island, and a behind the scenes exclusive pack including looks and an in-game artwork and the all original orchestral soundtrack. So some of this stuff that sounds like game stuff, I'm assuming is basically, and a lot of games do this. What you're basically getting is you buy the special edition and it gives you a season pass to an early and in some cases early access to DLC that they're going to put out for everybody later, and often at a discounted price because you're buying it in bulk. So just to let you know about that.
Am I the only
So-
one here that doesn't think this game looks good?
Hold
So,
on,
okay,
we'll
hold-
get to that. I have one
hold
more
on,
thing to
yes.
bring up. Some more one more paragraph that I think has.
Well,
some
hurry
good
up, Nathan.
information.
Hurry up.
Yeah. It says, take on an action-packed quest to avenge the death of Kong's parents at the hands of the ultimate alpha predator, the Saurian terror Gaw. Traverse the mysterious island and uncover its secrets across a variety of treacherous environments, discovering the power coursing through its exotic flora and fauna. Conquer waves of primal beasts, defeat unique bosses, and rise above all who stand in Kong's way to being king. So I'm getting a little bit of Monsterverse vibes in this. But yes, to your point, Michael, I watched the trailer. I wasn't impressed.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. I was excited for this game. I was, even though I'm not a big gamer, but just the idea of having a new King Kong game is great because the last King Kong game that we had was
I think it was
Peter Jackson. It was the Peter Jackson one.
And that one I hear is actually really good.
Yes, that is a very beloved game. And so I was excited for the gamers to be able to play a new King Kong game. And then I saw the in-game footage and it went
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. The Kong on this cover is a heck of a lot better than the in-game model. Because when I saw the in-game model, it was awful.
Yeah, the in-game stuff. So when I looked up about Game Mill's biggest releases are the Nickelodeon games. They do a lot of Nickelodeon, like the Nickelodeon Racers. They do a lot of puzzle games. They did the G.I. Joe game from a few years ago. But they are not known for releasing a lot of very high-end, very well done, beautiful next gen level games. They're more geared towards a younger audience. I want to say they kind of skew more towards younger audience. I haven't seen a lot of games for like older audiences.
I think
give me a second here. I have a picture of I found the screenshot of the in-game model I'd like to share.
I think Carnivores from the PC looked better. If anyone remembers that game.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, it's the
gameplay, it looks pretty mediocre. It just looks like a standard action game to me.
So our friends
one button until you win.
So our friends who did crap, I said friends and now I'm blanking on the name of the game. What's the name of the game that
Dawn of the Monsters. Dawn of the Monsters.
The Dawn of the Monsters. The Dawn of the Monsters. The Dawn of the Monsters. That looks better than this.
And that was like an independent.
It looks different. There are two different art styles. You can't.
True. We can't compare it, but I still I expect more from a game that's going to be released on like the PS5.
It's also going to be on Switch and PS4 and things like that. I'm just looking at this and thinking, do I really want to spend $50 on a special edition of this?
You still will. You'll do it.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I would, if I spent $20 on this, I think I'd be okay. But
yeah, well,
50 is a little steep.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we saw some of the gameplay, but maybe it will wow us and stuff. But I just think that they're gearing more towards a younger audience, which is weird because all the stuff and all the connections to like the bigger Kong universe is all stuff that like diehard fans in their 30s and 40s would know about, not younger audiences. So I don't know. It is just a weird looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Am I the only one who got literally none of those vibes from any of this? I don't know. I'm one of those weirdos that thinks that gameplay and story is the most important. Those are the most important parts of games and not the graphics.
Well,
I totally agree with that.
The gameplay footage wasn't that impressive either. It doesn't look like that interesting of a. It looks pretty straightforward. Like I said, I joked. You mash one button until you win. Have you
personally mashed the buttons to prove that?
No, I'm just. I admit I'm basing it off of just what I've seen.
Right? Yeah, we are basing it off of what we've seen. And
I could be completely wrong. This could be the most complex combat system ever made. I don't know.
Now that I doubt sincerely.
Yeah, but it really does. It does feel a little.
Once you clear like double digits, you're like 10 years old, then you can't be a Kong fan anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I liked it. I think I liked the aesthetic. It has kind of a cartoon aesthetic to it that I like. It's not expected, I suppose, but I don't think that means it's bad. A lot of games that come out now don't all have to have God of War level graphical fidelity to be good. So
yes, they do, Danny.
I think that's
You're not a gamer.
Yeah, well.
No,
I'm talking to Michael, not you.
Oh well, then I
resent.
One
of the best-selling games in the world, and whether you like it or not, is Minecraft, which is all pixelated.
Exactly.
So it's it's. You're right. Like the graphics don't really matter if the gameplay is good.
Listen, this game could absolutely blow when it comes out. I don't know.
I just feel it feels like because I feel like the graphics are more of a limitation more than a stylistic choice, and I think that's where
and
my- that's where I have the issue with.
More than anything, I'm happy for Joe DeVito and his crew. I've been following his Kong universe pretty much since it launched. I love what he did. Again, I've said it before, but if anybody out there has not read Kong King of Skull Island and you are a fan of the 1933 film, it is, and I am not exaggerating when I say required reading. Go get this book and read it. That's all I have to say. We can
the screen.
Yeah, we can move on though.
I had to get rid of the ugly face. Oh wait, Nathan's still here.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Aw,
horrible.
that
I'm
was
just
mean.
kidding,
It's funny coming
Nathan.
from you, sir.
That was
I'm
mean.
just
That's terrible.
kidding,
You
That
gotta-
is
Nathan.
fine. Oh, I can fix that. There. Happy now?
No, come back. Your beautiful face, Nathan. Come back.
Oh, what happened to
Listen.
the Manila? We didn't have Manila
Oh,
in the.
I mean, I can
Okay.
fix that too.
You
How
do
about
that,
this
but we
ugly
have-
face?
but we have
You
a
know.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
We have- There you go. But while you mess around with that, we have an important question I think we need to ask. Unless there's more video game stuff.
No, that's
No,
everything.
that
No?
was it.
Well, then I think we have an important question that needs to be asked. Elijah, would you mind asking the question for us? Michael, would you mind asking the question?
Oh, what's in
the-
the mail today?
What's in the mail today?
Yeah, we said that we would leave a little bit of time in the mailbag, but we are really running short on time. But to talk about G Fest, Elijah, do you want to just real quick, what was your favorite moment from G Fest? Tell me, because I wasn't.
I
there.
don't have one. I don't have one.
You don't
That's
have one.
my-
Yes, you do.
Oh, it was
Yes,
meeting
you do.
TJ Storm, right?
Nope.
Elijah loves TJ Storm.
Oh,
Best
to
friends.
death. It's his new favorite Godzilla suit actor.
Yes.
Best friends forever.
Yep.
Yes.
There it is.
Well,
I
I'll
think-
tell you what. I'll tell you what. Since it was my first G Fest, I will say this, and I said this during the cam panel. My favorite part of G Fest is
Collect all
putting
monsters for those who don't know.
putting physical faces to all the people we get to interact with online. Now, I've met everyone here in this stream in person, but there are a lot of people I've never met in person, but I still feel incredibly close to, like Kim and Eric. Well, I've met Eric, and you know what I mean. Jordan, a realist Goji fan, like seeing all those guys in person and actually getting to spend the weekend with them and just kind of have fun and just sit around and just crack jokes and just have a good time with each
Who
other.
did you meet for the first time in our immediate circle at G-Fest? Was it just Kim?
Kim.
Was it just Kim?
Kim and Adrian were actually when we got to the hotel, Adrian was the first person I saw because he greeted me at the top of the steps, and then I met Kim.
It sounds so romantic. I'm just picturing the Titanic scene on the big
like,
grand stairway.
Yes, Adrian. When we got to the hotel,
heart will go on. Oh.
when we got to the
Hate that
hotel,
song.
Adrian was waiting atop the stairs, the escalator, with a rose as to greet me with.
In his teeth.
So Nathan, real quick, make it quick. And I'm just saying this right now because we only have two more people to ask because I wasn't there. This question, one of y'all better say Kim's panel as your favorite moment because otherwise I'm going to be mad.
beating Nathan at King of Tokyo game.
You cheated.
That was my favorite.
You cheated.
Nathan, what is your
You
favorite
cheated.
moment from G Fest?
I got to show Linda Miller a copy of the magazine. It was because I took issue 9, my personal copy of issue 9 with me to show to people, do a little shameless self-promotion of the magazine. And I had met Linda Miller at AMA actually last September. She was one of the guests there. Got to chit chat with her for a little bit. We're friends on Facebook. And I showed her that article, my article in issue 9, because I wrote on Kong's Queen, so all the leading ladies. And I made she had a lull in the number of people coming to see her. So I just turned to that page and said, and I showed her the little write-up I did for her. And she took a minute and she read it. And the first thing she said when she was done was, I want to sign this for you. So she gave me a free autograph. And then she asked for a copy. So we will be sending Linda Miller a copy of issue 9 because she loved our article on her and the rest of the Kong girls. So that for me was my biggest moment. I even told her, like, that's one of the highlights of my entire weekend. Thank you. She is an incredibly, incredibly kind woman. And I was talking with her, and we talked about her work in the movie, but she has lived so much life before and after that movie that I told her, like, I really want to interview you and find out more just about your life. Because that moment when she was in King Kong Escapes with Akira Takarada and Rhodes Reason and, Kong himself and the, was it Hideo Yamamoto?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or Doctor Who? I was just making sure I got the name right. Like, that was
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. That was just one moment in a very long life that she's lived. And I would love to talk to her about the rest of it. And she was very open to that.
I love trying to find a parking space with Kim and everybody in the car. That was great.
Yeah,
When
you
you
guys
go
were
to
late
Chief
for the
Fest and
Pickwick.
you go to the Pickwick, you have a book
And
15
It's
minutes to
Chicago.
drive and 3 hours to find parking.
It's
and me
Chicago.
yelling at Elijah and
Yeah.
Nate, shut up in the back seat. I felt like I was the dad and Kim was the mom, and we were just telling all the kids in the back seat to shut up for a second.
So I'm going to real quick before we finish on Danny. I will finish on Danny. I wasn't there at G Fest, but just looking at the stuff that you guys have posted since then, what Kim has posted, what other people have posted, the recordings of the panels and stuff. I think one of my favorite panels that I've watched so far that was recorded, besides Kim's was a lot of fun. I really love that Kaiju Weekly and Kaiju Ramen was represented there. I think you guys did a wonderful job. But one that surprised me was Elijah's panel on Korean monster movies. I thought that was a very well done panel, and it just was a lot of information that I did not know, a lot of new information, and just really just a great panel.
Fun
Dude.
fact, he doesn't remember most of it.
Dude rocked it. He was on autopilot, man. He was going for it.
He did.
This is great. He did so
I would've-
good. I set that panel up and submitted it so that the audience could hear Elijah do his thing, and he delivered. And I could not be
It was wonderful.
prouder of him. Elijah
It was
rocked
wonderful.
it.
Elijah?
Well done, Elijah.
Whatever. Yes.
Thank
We,
you.
we were all delighted in Elijah.
It was lovely.
Danny, real quick, what
real
was
quick.
your favorite moment?
I have a tie I can't pick. So briefly, one, Jay Key giving me this toy for much less than it's worth.
Jay Key, shout out to Jay Key, the best vendor in the dealer hall.
Jay Key, if you're listening to this, my friend, you are one of the real ones. I adore you. I was sending people to your table. This figure, for anybody who doesn't know, is $150 on eBay. I hadn't gotten one because it was so expensive. I found it for a very reasonable price at Jay's table, and he still handed me $25 back and wouldn't let me pay the whole price for it. I couldn't believe it because of how amazing it is, but I can believe it because of what an incredible human being Jay is.
Yeah, Jay Key is an amazing person. Shout out to Toku Toy Town.
Yes.
We even have
Yes.
a banner that is use code ramen to get 10% off your order at Toku Toy Town, because he has been a sponsor of our magazine, of our podcast, of just the company in general for a while.
Jay's
we
goal-
love Jay.
Yeah, Jay's goal
Jay's
with
great.
his store is not to get rich. He just wants to
Make
help
people
people
happy.
fill their collections.
He wants to make
Yes.
people happy. And Jay, every time you and I chat, you make me happy. And you made me happy with this. I loved it so much. I carried him around on my bag handle the entire weekend after I bought him. So thank you. You are an amazing human being, and we love you around here. Two, briefly, was Kim's panel at the very end, we got to announce a certain special project.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I'll talk about more during shameless self-promotion. That's the only thing I'm really going to promote, so we can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite moments, Danny. This has something to do with you. One of my favorite moments from G-Fest was getting to panel with you on Atragon.
That was a great moment. I loved that. I'm glad that Nate invited you.
Yeah.
I'm
really glad that you
I
were
was,
qualified to be on that panel.
Nate's eyes are rolling into his skull right now.
I'm really happy that I was incredibly qualified to be on that panel.
You are 3 seconds away from a visit from Rito, sir.
To be on that panel.
Keep going. Keep going. I got my finger on the button.
Here he comes.
The bottom line is, and Michael, you were going to write an article about your experiences for your first
I still
G-Fest,
am. I still am.
For the website. We might expand it out and put it in the magazine too, because I think that would be also a great thing to put in the magazine as well. So just, it sounds like you guys had a lot of fun. I just seeing all the things that you guys have been posting and all the pictures that you guys are sending me.
next year.
Yes, I'm planning on being there next year. I couldn't make it this year. Although my weekend, what I ended up doing was very important and was very fun too. I really enjoyed myself. So I didn't feel like I missed out. But I do need to be there at G-Fest next year. And I do plan on being there for G-Fest next year, because I have to meet Kim in person at some point. Because
and Donnie will be there next year.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes, I did talk to him.
Yeah, that's because that's something. I do want to mention this really quick. Neil Reeby, shout out to Neil Reeby, who's written for the magazine, and he's written. Danny was reading one of his books earlier when Mom and Dad were fighting, and he's been doing a writers panel there for every year since, like, when did he tell us? Like 2013, something like that. It's been a while. The last 2 years, he's not been sure he was going to make it to the convention, so he left it to me to manage things. Well, he made it to both, and now starting next year, it's me and Danny's panel. He officially passed the torch to us, and
we have inherited the writers panel.
That's those are some big shoes to fill, Danny.
I know. Neil has very large feet. So I think if we each take one shoe, we should be fine.
Yeah, we should be fine. Yeah. So we're already putting together a list of people that we would love to have on the panel again. Have on the panel next year. One of whom is Donnie. Donnie really wants to be on it.
Absolutely has to be there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that's about it.
Yeah, so that's going to bring this episode to a close. So to start bringing this home, let's let Danny DeMana
give his.
I'm Can sorry, we play Danny, the trailer?
I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I know Elijah has to go. So Elijah, you go first.
Yeah.
Right.
So hi, my name's Elijah. I run the podcast ET13 Productions. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ET13 Productions. I also host the podcast Kaiju Conversation, which you can find on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Kaiju_Converse. I have to leave here in like 30 seconds because I'm about to go stream a review with G-Man about Oppenheimer. So I write for Kaiju Ramen. Check it out, kaijuramenmedia.com. And I think that's actually everything I have. Stay tuned for my YouTube channel for my short film SOS Take Shelter whenever that comes out. So that's all I got. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Anyway, I had to do the Barry White over the smooth jazz. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Elijah, for giving your shameless self-promotion.
Yes. So
and for joining us. Have fun talking about Barbie with Jack, and we'll catch that stream as soon as we are done. Anybody who's interested, because you're live streaming, not just recording, right?
Yes.
So anybody who's here and doesn't have anywhere to go after we finish can go check out Elijah's live stream. So now, Danny, would you like to give your shameless self-promotion?
Play the trailer.
Play the trailer.
Okay. Ever so briefly. So I've been on here 1,000 times. I've talked about the Godzilla novelization project before. That's my big claim to quote unquote prominence maybe in the fandom. I don't know. It's my thing. Go to GodzillaNovelizationProject.com if you want to read the Godzilla movies in prose novel form. My socials are all there on the links page. You can find me there. There's a social media page. There are links to all the podcasts I've been on, all that good stuff. I've blabbered about that stuff before, but this time I got something special I want to drop. And that is the fact that, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm so excited. I am collaborating with the one and only queen of the fabulous empire. Yes, the one and only Kaiju Kim. You know her, you love her, and she has a film coming out, an independently made fan animated film called Erica. This film will tell the story of Godzilla versus Biollante from the perspective of Erica's soul trapped within the rose as she slowly transforms, compelled by the advent of Godzilla's biology entering her own as she slowly transforms into a monster and her soul is corrupted. It will be a 2D animated film. It will be absolutely amazing when it's done. And I am legitimately blessed to have been asked to write this project. I will be writing the screenplay for this project. And here's the trailer. We cannot hear it, but I promise it sounds neat.
Acceptance.
Back it up.
Okay.
Emptiness. Silence. The place where life and death hold equal power for a single lonely soul. This is where you'll find me. It's quiet here. Warm. There's comfort within my little realm. Kind of serenity that comes with acceptance.
And by the way, that is the voice of Alyssa Goji Geek.
Dream.
Yes, it is.
What's this? Something's different. I feel cold.
I must do something, or else Erica will die.
Father, Father, I'm here. Please hear me. Please. I'm still. What is this? Father, what have you done? There's something else here. Something's changing. I'm changing. What's happening to me? No! This power, this anger. I want to destroy.
There it be. There it be. That is the trailer. I'm so happy for Kim. I could just about explode. This has been in her head for years. I was brought on board a few months ago. I wrote the dialogue for that teaser. This is going to be an amazing project when it's done. I am so thrilled. Yes, Oscar. Yes. I cannot wait for you all to see Kim's vision for this thing unfold. But in order to make this, yes. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Thank you for making me a part of this. I'm so happy to be a part of this.
And I have to say, this was my first time seeing the trailer because it was shown
right.
at G-Fest. I didn't get to see it. So yes, this looks absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing. And shout out to my dear friend Alyssa, whose voice you just heard as Erica. I got chills. I wrote that script with her head, with her voice in my head. And she did far better than even that. She nailed it. She's going to give people chills in this movie. She's got the perfect voice for it. This film is going to be super cool, but we cannot do it without your help. That's the thing. This is not going to be a cheap project to do. So we're hoping the Kaiju community can help us out. We're going to be launching a Kickstarter for this thing on August 1st. We're looking for about 10 grand to get this thing done. By the time it's all animated and our animator has got everything, in the can, the plan is to have the animation be singular point quality. Good. Like, we want this thing to be, it is going to be beautiful. But in order to make this happen, Kim needs your help. So make
Mhm.
sure you go to the Kickstarter page. I can try to drop a link here in a sec. It's not
Mhm.
live yet, but you can put a bookmark on it,
Mhm.
and
Right.
you can jump back on board. You'll get an email.
available to follow, and you can get
Yes.
Right.
reminders when it
Yeah.
launches.
And when it launches on August 1st, we absolutely need your help. If you're able to donate, that would be just amazing. If you're not, then at least sharing it with other fans would be tops. So
Yeah.
that's my big thing I needed to promote for my dear
Mhm.
friend Kim.
Mhm.
I
And
can't wait
how
to-
long will the campaign be?
60 days. We're doing a
60
2-month
days,
campaign on
okay.
this, so we'll have plenty of time, hopefully.
Mhm.
So yeah, spread the word, and we'll see you all there August 1st.
Yes, and we're going
Yes.
to definitely talk about it more as we get
Oh,
closer
yes.
to the time, and definitely, and the link is in the chat. So if you
Oh,
are
there it is. Thank you.
interested in the live chat, you can go and see the link and follow that link. So yeah, it just looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I'm just so excited. Like I said, this is my first time seeing it. So and we will definitely talk about it more as we go on, because we're never going to shut up about it, Kim.
Yes.
We're going to talk it to death for
Please
you.
do.
Mhm.
Please do. We're going to help Kim out. We're going to make this happen.
Mhm. I mean, she has what, 1,000, just over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Mhm.
If every one of her subscribers pitched in $10,
$10.
it'd be funded in a
Done.
day, and
Yep.
all the extra money would just go to help make the project better and more
Mhm.
polished and all that good stuff. And of course, one other thing worth noting is that we can't, like, this is not something that can earn money. This is using
Right.
Toho, and it's the same thing with the Godzilla novelization project. This
It's
is
a
something
passion
that
project.
yes, it's a passion
Yes.
project. We can't earn money from it because A, we respect Toho, and B, Kim does not want to get sued. So
Even though she
yes.
is the queen.
the queen, 11. Yeah, there you go. See, if
1,100 subscribers that
if
she has
everyone
right
gave
now.
$9, we'd be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So yeah, that we're looking forward to that. Anybody who's watching still, check it out. If you're listening to this later, check it out. Like I said, we're going to talk about it more as time go, as we go on through the campaign. We're going to keep giving shout out to it, and also updates on the progress of it and all of that kind of stuff. So you will be hearing more about it as time goes on. So Nathan, can you give your shameless self-promotion?
Shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Check out my podcast, The Monster Island Film Vault. That's about the finding entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. It's on all the podcatchers. It's on all the socials. Speaking of crowdfunding, go check out its Patreon if you want to join MIFV Max, as all three of these gentlemen are. Got hours and hours of extra content on there. And also check out Henshin Men. Just recorded a new Henshin Men episode yesterday with Tommy Trembeth of Giant Size Violence. We talked about the original Kamen Rider manga. So that should be coming out, I think, hopefully in about a week or so. And then I will let Michael talk about our other podcast. And I also remind everybody to go check out my author website, nathanjsmarchand.com. Take it, Michael.
Power Trip.
Real
If you
quick
like sour,
before Michael,
Go ahead.
just real quick, Jordan, we did talk about it. Just back this stream up about 2 hours. We reacted to the trailer and talked about it.
Yeah. Anyway,
if you like Power Rangers and Super Sentai, the Power Trip, our journey through the Power Rangers franchise, is the place for you. We are in our second season. We're getting ready to release Turbo versus Beetleborg's comic discussion.
the audio version.
The audio version, and we're getting ready to release Car Ranger. Car Ranger will be out soon. G-Fest kind of delayed that. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. This Power Trip 2 is the last season of the show. It will be ending at the end of this year. So thank you for everyone who has listened and enjoyed it so far. We appreciate it. But yeah, go check out the Power Trip, Kaiju Media, part of that family of podcasts.
Yeah. And so wanted just thank you for watching along with us, for listening to this over 3 hours now stream. We had a lot of news to cover and a lot to talk about, so it was a long one. We kind of knew that going into it. And if you want more Kaiju Ramen content, check out kaijuramenmedia.com. We have the magazine that's available on there. Issue 10 is finished. Now we're just getting ready to launch it, and we will probably talk about that next week when we go to launch it for everybody to order. And we're really excited about it because I'm just so excited for that issue in general. I've really poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. So looking forward to finally getting it out there to everybody. Continue to subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Continue to follow us on social media, kaiju_ramen, and stay tuned for more Kaiju content, because we've recorded some content and we are going to release on our YouTube channel, so make sure you are subscribed. And with that, I think we're going to say, help control the giant monster population. Have your Guirons, the new Gamera Rebirth Guirons, spayed or neutered.
I'm
I was
gonna
gonna
tell him
say,
you
have
said
your-
that. I'm gonna warn him.
I was gonna say have your chibi Godzillas spayed or neutered, but okay.
You know, my little angry boy. My
As
little
long as
angry
you don't
boy.
have Squeaky Hammer spayed or neutered, I think we'll be fine.